My out on Tesla's a little bit lower than where we are right now. We talked about that 362.50. Good job today, Obi. Great show. Thank you so much to everybody for being here. Thanks for Adair coming back. We really appreciate her back in the fold as well. So, hey, for me and Obi and Andre and Adara and Brendan and Sharif and Joe, see you later. But you're going over now to the Bro Show. Yep. It's Sharif.
The Bro Show.
It's Joe. And we'll see you at 2 p.m.
See you guys.
Boom, 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 boom! What is this, Dr. Evil? Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Opshays, and I'm Sharif. And I'm already a degen in mini-me. You have to shrink a little bit there because you're not very mini, bro.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
So I watched, I just put it on for background noise, and they make a Starbucks reference. They're like, yeah, number 2. He's like,
oh,
yeah.
I love number 2, bro.
He's like, yeah, we bought Starbucks
Remember
shares.
that?
Yeah, they're like,
That's
we bought
so
Starbucks
good.
shares 20 years ago, and the movie.
Where are they at now? Where are they at now?
Exactly.
All right, let's shout out everybody. Joseph. All right, Blue Arrow, ADL, box. Hey, mate, we got Lo-Fi Soul. We got all things Trump. I love that name. Smokey D, Dorothy, Juggy, not you, Juggy. Frank Drives. We got Paul Goodson. We got Clique of Gypsies. Habibis. We got Stevenson, ATM. We got Monique.
Stevenson
Pitchbull. He's back. But we got Emad as well. He's saying hi from West Palm Beach. I don't want to hear that, bro. It's cloudy outside, all right? We got Ozam. We got Fiddlebeck. We got Ozan as well. Shout out to him as well. Mike. We got Emad. Mike L. Defnesh. Showtime 1. Ronaldo. Is he going to sign again in Saudi? His contract's up and they're negotiating right now.
He's 36, 37
Bro,
now, right?
he'd be doing his thing right now. He's
man.
still. All right. Welcome, everyone. She is back and more pleased I could not be. Adara LePage. What is going on up there?
Gabriel, so happy to be back with you guys and with everyone here in this chat, in this community. Here is the Nasdaq. I just want to let you guys know Feds Goolsbee is talking. He wasn't actually set to begin speaking, or so we thought, until, I guess I was supposed to start at 10:40, but I'm only seeing comments populating now, so about 25 minutes after he was set to begin talking. He's saying here that if tariffs are avoided, they could return to a situation where interest rates come down, but he's saying that if politics control the interest rate, inflation's coming back. So Feds Goolsbee a little bit negative here. He's saying that there is a likelihood that there will be a continuation here with regards to inflation or a return of inflation if these tariffs policies remain in place. Furthermore, he's actually really coming at the idea that the political parties should be controlling the central bank because he says, quote, sometimes central bank has to do what the political apparatus doesn't enjoy. So comments coming here from Goolsbee, just be aware he is speaking again. Supposed to start at 10:40, but now we're starting to get these very interesting comments populating from Feds Goolsbee. We'll send you back to the guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. Fantastic look there. Joseph, I'm involved in HKD. Anybody who is trading small cappers in 2022, throw up some ones in the chat if you remember this insane stock going from pennies to $2,600 in a real move. And I think this one would have really been down Adara's alley if she was trading at the time because it was like a $300 spread. I remember there was a trader back on the floor. I'm not going to say your name, but you know who you are if you're watching. He was trying to trade this, and the floor manager was like, hell expletive, nah, you're not taking that. It's way too spready. They didn't let him do it, Joseph. There we go. Now everybody's reacting. I know you guys remember this. This thing is insane. It's back to $3. We're involved with it right now. We got 08s on, looking at wetting the beak here. We'll see if it holds up at the volume weighted average price, Joseph, which is south of that $3 area, route 286. I have another dip trade here at 88s for the money fill in front of the volume weighted average price, but we have a high of 344. We're trying to do our best, or so it seems here, to hold above that $3 area. There is a seller in the high single digits. I mean 08s, 09s, maybe around 10s. We'll see. It looks like it is 08. So every time we move up to 08, we are rejecting at the moment. So let's see. Okay, we're taking them out 9s, 12s. Here we go again. Let's see. Can we make a new 5-minute candle to make a new high? We got to get above that 3.25. I'll submit to you, probably a little bit higher, 327, 328. You okay over there, bro?
Right there.
I know you had those coffees, but damn. All right, guys, so that's what we're doing right now. We're looking at taking some profits here on your boy HKD. We got size on this one as well. Let's see if it can take out that $250. Joseph Wilson, what are you looking at?
Yes, sir. Yeah, let's pull up the old screen ski here. Yeah, let's go. We're in some Tesla. Full disclosure, got lit up on Nvidia earlier this morning, but we're riding this Tesla wave right now. If it's going to be strong, we're going to add into this position. I went really, really heavy here too as well. But yeah, so this is the winner we got going on, guys. I only traded 2 names this morning, and I was telling that to Katina, man. I'm like, I'm focusing on 2, and that's it. But you can see big time hesitation and not good execution here on Nvidia. So you see I get a little pop right there. I go here, and then I just went too heavy, and then I just got out, and then I took a couple more attempts, and I'm like, no, see you later. This thing isn't doing what I want it to do, so I'm just going to hop out of it and go find something else that's more relatively strong. It did get that move back up towards the volume-weighted average price, but I wanted no part of this name after I realized from the tape standpoint that it wasn't going to continue in that trend that it was from last night and off of that earnings report. So there we go. That's what we had cooking up there in Nvidia, but we're past that. I took my shots on it yesterday and today, so we're on to new things, and that's going to be Tesla, and we're going to focus on this, guys, and we're going to add to this position. Most definitely. One thing to note, we do have a downtrend that needs to be snapped, and that's going to be my adding opportunity, that if it does decide to break this right here, then once we sit on the backside of it, that's going to give me an opportunity to double up my current position right now. I'm sitting on a little bit more than 50% of what I originally started with. So as long as we don't crack this and the momentum to the downside really starts to pick up, then I think there's going to be an opportunity to get involved in this. Let's zoom out and see from a daily standpoint what we got going on here. So I mentioned a 3-bar play, and here you go. Like, I mean, we open up at the top of the range, but I just feel like this consolidation wasn't long enough for me personally. Can we continue? Absolutely. And is there going to be any targets around this 371? I think so. Is it going to happen today? I don't know. We don't know that just yet. But what we can do is always take a look at what the market is telling us and how we can have these in-depth and inside looks is just pulling up the chain, looking for high levels of open interest. Where is the amount of size lying? And do we have the ability to surpass some of these key strike prices? For me, 365, 16,000 open contracts, I don't think that's overly aggressive, right? So I'm not too worried about that. I think that can be absorbed. But one thing that I did point out here earlier, and you can go and check me out on X, is that the size at that 145 strike on NVDA substantially grew. It almost doubled. I mean, we were sitting around 75,000 open contracts yesterday before that earnings report, and then now that is almost double. We're sitting, not quite, but close, 113,000 open contracts at 145, and I mentioned from previous earnings report, I've seen substantially more between a couple strike prices. I remember, I think it was the 120 or something, or 130, 120s, whatever it may be, 150,000, and then when you raise in increments and go to that 145, there's another 150,000. We're not seeing that size yet, but it's still substantial, so we got to keep an eye out on that stuff and see how the levels are rejected or respected, right? So 145, I think, is going to be a struggle for NVDA today.
All right, man, we're still nursing this HKD trade. I've moved up my dip trade now from 88s to reflect the new area of the volume-weighted average price, which is in the high 80s. So I always front-run the level, obviously, because it gets to be a crowded trade right at or very near the level. So I'm waiting at 91s or 92s. Let's wait to see if this one can, number one, dip into VWAP. Okay. Well, first, no, let's step back for a second. Does it hold 3? And I don't mean about just wicking 298, 299. Does the closing print at the end of the 5-minute candle, off which I chart, does it hold 3? That's number one. Number two, does it wick down and then kind of get into the low 90s very quick? And then number three, we're rejecting at 20s here. So that's where the seller now has posted up, the short seller, the profit taker, whatever. It is now $3.20 that we're having a hard time clearing. But as you can see on my chart, I've taken prints at the $0.25, but that was prior to the move back down into 3 and the zig and the zag. I perceive this to kind of be putting a bit of a compression pattern with every single candle subsequent to that high day candle that printed at 10.15 $62.55. Each one of those candles has a lower high, but also has a higher low. So kind of makes that triangle shape to the side, right? That's what we call a compression pattern. We're above VWAP. That keeps me feeling bullish. We're also putting in higher lows, so that keeps me bullish as well. So let's see what this one does. I have plenty other small cap gappers that are all in play today, but for the moment, we're going to go back to Adair.
Keep an eye here on Southwest Airlines. CEO Robert Jordan apparently speaking right now, saying that the company is seeing stability in demand over the last couple of weeks, and that apparently their business bookings are holding up well. So just keep an eye here on LUV, as we're apparently getting some comments from its CEO. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're looking for some market-related content, check us out on X at TTV Research. We post constantly. We've been posting while I was on vacation. Back to you.
Noticed that even Adair. I'm like, oh, Adair's even posting up while she's on vacation. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Is there anything you got going on there?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about the small cap gappers that I have on, but I just really wanted to focus on this one for a second because I want HKD, that is, guys, up 60%. I want to see if we can take out that 20 print. Currently, this current 5-minute candle has a higher low and a lower high. Here we go again with 315, 314. My dip trade into the volume weighted average price is going unfilled. So we're in an area of indecision. What keeps me optimistic is the fact that we're above that $3 and above that volume weighted average price. And the volume is good. It's about 10 million shares. And to be honest with you guys, this was not one that was running in the pre-market, not one that really opened up aggressively after the bell. The volume on this one came in at 1040, so 20 minutes before the show. I like those ones better because you feel the best part of the trade is not behind it. You're not picking up the scraps off key areas of technical support. You can actually take the breakout. So this could be a bull flag formation right now. There's likely going to be bamboozlement. Anybody who's traded this before, at least since 2022, kind of knows that. It's shown up since 2022 only to fade back down. So there is that risk to it. And I remember it showing up a couple of times, maybe in 23, maybe once or twice in 24. I don't remember exactly. So we'll keep an eye on this one, but just know that there is bamboozlement that can happen. It's a Chinese name. I think they do some education crap online. Let me just give you exactly what they do. It doesn't really matter, but they are a comprehensive digital solutions platform company. They're a one-stop shop for digital solution, operates 4 main businesses, including digital financial, SpiderNet. Okay, so they changed all this. It was like online education or something back in the day. So it looks like they've changed the remote there, whatever, I don't care. It's not why traders are looking at this. They're looking at this because they know exactly what the hell it is. Anyway, so here will we go. SBET, who remembers this one? This was insane. SBET going like almost quadruple digits on the day, going from like $3 to $45. And here it is again. It really did not give up the ghost. It's back in play. It's awfully spready and awfully crazy. So make sure to trade this carefully. Just had a beautiful bounce into the volume weighted average price at 41 1/3. And right up into 43 1/3. That's 2 whole dollars in the money you would have been if you had a resting order at the volume weighted average price, the high of the day, 48 1/3. So keep your eye out on this one. I'm unlikely to get into this one with any serious size just because of the volatility and the price. TNGX, another beauty. Does this look like a buy program or does this look like a buy program?
I thought it was a sell program.
This guy, he's going to invert his candles. I love it. It's got one of your favorite candles right now, Joseph. Topping tail.
Yeah, let's see how that closes.
Exactly. We got another minute or so.
You would have to order shorts for that one.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll see if they're paid for shorts or what. So TNGX, Joseph, this one rocketing up as well, up 28.5%, a little bit less than that. MODV, at the volume weighted average price, not the biggest volume mover on the day. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Also, GEVO, G-E-V-O. What is this? 2021, 2022 all over again. We got HKD, we got GEVO. It feels like the small cap gappers of yesteryear. Anyway, $1.39 at the high right now with a beautiful upward channel. Could be a bull flag formation. We're going to keep an eye out on this one, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely there, guys. Yeah, so Tyler Verse, yeah, I'm in TSLL still. I mentioned that I still have about 55 to 60% of this position. I'm just looking to add hoping for a continuation of this trend and then a crack of the downtrend line as well too. And that will give me the ability to add more into this position. But you can see we're cooking up in this one here today. It's good. I mean, I started heavily red on Nvidia, but then we put in some size here on this trade, and I'm just looking to make it bigger. And with that, you got to be patient, right? This is a game of patience, and I don't want to jump the gun, right? I obviously want to display good trades for you guys, and sometimes that takes time, right? You see, I like catching breakouts. I'm very much, I guess, process oriented, and with that being said, it takes some time. I do believe there's going to be an add opportunity here. We just need to be patient, wait to sit on the backside of this trend, and then I think that opportunity is going to present itself. But the thing is here with the Qs and the SPY, it doesn't want to seem to participate. I mean, with these big tech names, and I wrote it down in my notes this morning, I mean, if Amazon and Apple decide that they want to pull back, especially after yesterday's move, Sharif and I were talking last night. He's like, what's the market doing? I'm like, oh, it's just Nvidia. I look at the market. I'm like, it's not just Nvidia. Oh, so what we got going on? I was like, okay, so I had to pull up Apple and go through the Mag 7. And then with that being said, the companies that I feel that have been hit hardest by the tariffs, Amazon, Apple, et cetera, were the ones that were moving the highest in that post market yesterday. So if you guys had the ability to look at that for yourself, you can see that when that, I seen it, Branko's posted it to me, and then when I heard about what was going on with Donald Trump and the tariffs, then I was like, okay, that's totally justifiable on what's currently going on. But yeah, we're going to be patient. We're going to take our time. A lot of tickets to play. No, Showtime, I'm going to highly disagree on what you just said there, my friend, respectfully. I disagree with what you said. Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't feel like I need to, nor do I know what your background or anything is. I guess that's irrelevant to me. But I hear what you're saying, but I respectfully disagree on what you have to say there. So yeah, this is what we got going on. We're going to be patient. There's going to be an ad opportunity. And if you just tell, if you honed in on my style of trading, I'm going to get more into this position if the opportunity presents itself. We just got to be patient. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at NVDA. I mentioned the high levels of open interest through 140 and 145. I forgot what 140, if 140 increased, then that's not good. Oh, okay, so yeah, we seen yesterday it was around 9. It was in the high 90s at that 140 strike. For this week's expiration cycle, it's also grew in size. We're now sitting at 114,000 current open contracts, all right? So we'll be patient. It's going to be hard for the market to absorb this amount of liquidity, especially if it's across the board on a lot of these Mag 7 names. So we can go through the likes of Apple and Amazon, too, to see what we have going on from an open interest standpoint. And what I'm currently seeing right now on Amazon is a lot more activity than what we tend to see. So through 205 all the way to 215, there's kind of a congestion of about 20,000 here, 17,000 here, 16,000 here. And if you scroll up or down your chain, you're not going to see that amount of size through the rest of those strikes. So there's a lot of supply within that area that needs to be absorbed in order for this market to continue to climb higher. And with Apple starting to put in a new low a day, it is not a positive sign. So guys, just pack that patience, hold those horses, and those opportunities will display themselves. You just need to wait for that precise moment to get involved.
Well said, Joseph. All right, new position, guys. I've worked into GVO now. I'm going to give this to the volume weighted average price, but I likely will add if it comes into the lower end of the range. So I perceive this to be an upward channel. So if I perceive it to be as such, then why would I not add on the lower end of the channel to get a better cost basis? That's what I'm going to do. So currently, I see this bad boy as having a lower end of the channel. I want to say at around $1.35. I've got $1.38. So let's go in and throw half the position that I got in at the $1.35 for a possible add. GEVO, it's not the biggest mover on the day, but it is $1 and a third. So you should be able to size substantially here and to see what you can get if we move, 10, 15, 20 pennies. That's kind of the move here with these type of stocks, or especially the ones that are lesser priced but are doing volume, and GVO is one of those. TNGX has 2 topping tail candles right now, so this one's kind of bamboozling me. The reason is even though they're topping tail, each and every topping tail forms a new high. So there's still definitely aggressive buying at this level. It's just so extended off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. I feel awfully risky buying it at this level. I need it to come down into that mid 40s, the low 40s, something in and around that level. Ideally, this thing comes into the volume weighted average price at 235 and gives me a great bounce there, but you know, I don't get to choose. So I'm keeping an eye, a close eye on TNGX because it's very buy program-esque. And if that's the case, well, let's take advantage of whoever the hell is buying this and kind of ride their coattails, so to speak. So that's what I'm thinking about doing right now on TNGX, just about how I execute, how I get in. So we're going to keep an eye on that. But I got shares on here for HKD. We're taking prints to the high side. We got 3s on, just took 6s. I've layered my orders. They're all resting orders. So if we move up into those levels, it boom, boom. All right, give me 10s, baby. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to take some more off here. Joseph, we got shares on, so let's take some more. Let's see if the 10s and 11s can print 10s. Boom. Come on, where are the 11s at? Show me the 11s. Show me the money. All right, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. Let's not get carried away now. It can turn on me in a second. We know how this bad boy is. In any event, let's get back to TNGX here, talk real. Man, it keeps putting in freaking higher lows. I don't know how to get in here, Joseph. I really don't know how to get in on something like this. TNGX is just too extended.
Way too extended.
It's too extended. Like, you know, you punch in, then you're going to feel awfully silly. I'm going to put a dip trade, come what may, okay? I'm going to put a dip trade ahead of that 10 EMA. I'm going to put 2 dip trades, one to defend the $0.50 and one if it breaches the $0.50. They're all going to be small size, so let's go ahead and jump in front of that $0.50 area. And then we're going to put a little one over here as well in the low to mid 40s, Joseph. That's exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to throw that on there right now. Let's see if we can get something in and around there. But we're going to monitor this HKD thing. What do you got?
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go, guys. I just added to this position here. Let's see if this works out. If we knock on if we run our heads into that downtrend line again and reject it aggressively, then maybe we're not going to break through and continue to the top side in this recovery here in the market. But I mean, it's relatively strong. I like that. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. You just have to be patient, right? Like, it's like, I get it. You want me to be in these positions and everything, but at the same time, I want to be able to display good trades for you guys. And with me, with that being said, you got to wait. And there we go. This ad is working out. Look where my average is. It's all the way down here. It's at 1637. But now when I add, it gets lifted up to here, right? So I don't want to be adding up here and then I move and then I get stopped out, break even, because I'm not going to allow a winning trade to turn into a losing one. So that's why I was waiting for this pullback to potentially be complete. And then now we can add into this position. And then if it continues to break, then we can add more and get more and more aggressive, all right? So, yeah, I get what you're saying, but you got to understand that I have to punch these keys. You don't get to punch them for me.
Oh!
So yeah, exactly. So you got to be patient. We were in this trade from, what time did we hop in this trade? From 10:16, and we're still currently sitting in it. So we just, again, I'll say patience one more time because that's most definitely the name of the trading game, all right, guys? Patience is the number one. It's like weird because you have to be aggressive and patient at the exact same time. But when it's
so
time,
true.
Yeah, right.
So
you know
true.
what I mean? Like,
yes.
So it's like you're patient. You got to be like a tiger, right? Like a tiger waiting in the bushes and everything.
Obi likes that
one.
one.
He's sitting there. He's patient. But then when it's time to pounce, you're not getting out of the grip of the tiger, right? So that's it. It's like done, you're done. Whatever animal it may be going after is gonzo. So there we go.
What's your favorite animal, Joseph?
Gorilla.
Gorilla, huh?
Silverback.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah,
so you know that I did that. That was my last vacation. I haven't been on vacation in a year and a half.
You were telling me,
so that was my last.
How was that?
It was insane. They smell very bad.
Do they?
Yeah. Very pungent smell, bro. It emanates, and like they come by you, and then they make like this is how they speak like.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
And they communicate like that with each other. The women, you can tell, or the females, they get like you can tell which ones are higher ranking based on how they're acting because they'll act like way more aggressive, way more confident than the lower ranking ones. It's crazy,
really?
bro.
Yeah. I bet
and you
that's
can't make eye contact. No. You got to keep the mask on because they don't want to pass on diseases to them.
And everything.
Man, it was an experience.
I bet that would be
an
an amazing experience. You see that one video of when they're just doing like the gorilla watching, and then the one silverback just decides to grab the cameraman's ankle and just drags him.
He told us bear story. Our guide told us bear stories about that.
Cool.
There's never been an actual attack, just physical contact like that. And the reason is they're letting you know, bro, this is my turf. I'm in charge. And you're here as a guest, so act accordingly.
Yeah. Oh, weren't you telling me some lady was trying to egg them on or something on like that? And it's just like,
she was like trying to give him food and stuff like that, and the guy got super angry with her,
Yeah, no
which
thanks.
was
You won't be seeing me doing that whatsoever. All right, guys, this is what precision is all about. Joey Travolta. Yeah, this is what precision is all about. If we can sit on the backside of this, then I think we're going to be able to break through some of these key pivot levels right there. So there you go. We just boom, 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 however long that was, 10, 15, 20 minutes. You just wait, and then it gives you the opportunity to get in, let all that selling potentially just kind of phase out, and then boom, you just look for that entry. We sit on, if we can open up and sit on the backside of this, then I believe there's going to be another add opportunity, and I want to try to make this position as large as I possibly can. But see, the thing is, the SPY starting to curl back towards the volume weighted average price. So is the Qs, but Apple, raining on the parade once again here, guys. So all this move that we've seen from last night has been given back. I wasn't surprised. I'm just waiting for Donald to choose something. I'm going to be excited about that. Or maybe he's that shook. He's like, I got to really cook something up here before I decide to post it.
How is that even possible?
There we go. Really weak opening drives here, guys. And that momentum to the downside was just continuing throughout the remainder of this session here, or throughout this whole session here, guys. So yeah, be patient. Let those setups come into your lap. Don't force anything. There's going to be opportunities, just like this ad here on Tesla. Now we're starting to see the strength displayed here in the time of sales, and that's exactly what we need. So everything's working out. So yeah, there it is. All love, right? It's all love, Thomas. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. We got What's for Lunch, that segment.
Boom.
You know, we were excited about that one. So yeah, I mean, now we're sitting in some Tesla, doing the right moves right now, and just slowly chipping away at some of the losses we endured from Nvidia.
All right, guys, I did well here on HKD, but we got stopped out for the remaining amount. I added 3 times. I was able to extract profits above my ads on every single occasion, but we were holding a piece, and so we give some back as it loses the volume weighted average price. If it can start giving me those higher highs and those higher lows, then we'll have a conversation. At the moment, though, HKD not tradable under my system until and if it gets back above that volume weighted average price, not on a wick basis, but on a decisive basis. And I'm likely, given this one's reputation, I'm likely going to insist on an uptrend pattern. I'm going to need to see 5-minute candles close with higher highs and higher lows. I'm not going to try to dollar cost average into an oblivion with this one. That is a recipe for disaster. As you can see, it is losing the bid quite quickly here. This is the reputation for HKD. Ever since it hit that 2,600 or whatever it ended up going to, it pops up maybe a month, 2, 3, 6 months after, and it does this kind of thing. So if you're going to get it, you got to get it while it's fresh, because it doesn't stick around for all that long. And that's my observation of it. All right, so we got a couple of dip trades here that have not printed on TNGX. I'm looking for that $0.50 area as my first area dip trade, and then I have another dip trade just below that for the 10 exponential moving average. And if that ends up triggering, I will dollar cost average into the volume weighted average price, currently showing me low 40s, around 41 or 42. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that one. Guys, there's this stock called SBET. I don't know who remembers it from last week, but another small cap gapper trader with the initials RC made something like $250,000 on this one, and I happen to believe that very much so. Hey, what's going on over there?
Tesla.
So this one is holding at an area that I perceive to be a previous area of resistance, now current area of support. So you'll see this, the wicks really do come off that volume weighted average price, but look at the closing prints on this area right here, okay? I happen to like that 43 area, not because it's a whole dollar level, but because that's where we were wicking into that area and then rejecting. Look at that wick. From all the way up into 43 2/3, we dropped aggressively into 36.5, only to make new highs and new lows. So right now, we've got an uninterrupted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candle retracement, all with lower highs, except this one over here, which is a bamboozler. So I need to see a trend change. Now, if that means getting a worse price, fine, but I'm on the lookout here for a trend change at 43, given that it is a prior area of resistance, as my friend Obi likes to say. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now. I don't mind weaseling into SBET It's going to be for smaller size, full disclosure. We're not going to be taking HKD size on SPET. I just tell you that from now. So don't expect any posts there like your friend RC with a quarter milli.
Post Malone?
RC?
I thought you were saying any post. I mean, I said Post Malone.
No, a post like a picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say here, Sharif, did you see your boys over there in Pakistan setting up a government-led strategic Bitcoin?
Well, I didn't know I had boys in Pakistan. That's sick. What are their names?
His name is let's see, let me pull it up here. Is Bin Saqib. Bin Saqib, yeah.
Take another shot.
Your guy's over there. Wait, you
realize that Pakistanis are not Arabs, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying they're your boys.
Okay, yeah.
Not your boys? Or?
No, they're not. I don't know why you would think that. Like, the Middle East are my boys. We already got like half a billion people,
I mean,
bro.
they can still be your friend and everything along those lines. But,
what do we got?
So
what are they buying?
200 megawatts to mine Bitcoin and power AI data centers coming out of Pakistan. And they're looking up setting a government-led strategic Bitcoin reserve, which was led by...
Now they're my friends, Joseph. Why didn't you start with that, bro? Start with that, man.
Yeah, well, there we go.
There we go.
Friends. There we go. Yeah, his name is, if I pronounce it wrong, it's Bin Saqib. So he is the head of the Crypto Council over there in Pakistan. I read that article. I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Nice.
So it's just like, it's kind of just like that snowball effect. And they said it's motivated by the actions of the U.S. And if you see all these other countries slowly start to adapt this, then you might just kind of get that squeeze like price action where everybody just starts panicking and it's like, okay, whoever's first at this is getting obviously first dibs, but then now we have to pick up the scraps, and that could just most definitely lead to a rat race.
I love the comments in the chat. You knew that was gonna spur some stuff. But like, yeah, it's just funny stuff. Nothing that we have to concern ourselves with. I love the comments, guys. Just keep them clean, but they are funny. Thank you guys for that.
No, yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I was just saying that they're the boys. I don't care.
I just find it funny, bro. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Fine. I'm not gonna be sensitive about it.
My boy, but he's like, hey, you know what I mean? So I figured that your guys over there, who you wanted to know that one. So.
All right, Scott H. I bought the dip off the bell on Reddit. We're in the money bigly. That's my guy right there. Love trading Reddit, crazy mover. Let's have a look at Reddit for the OG, Scott H. What is this one up to, man? I remember this one sold off quite aggressively. Let's look at the daily. Let's start with the daily, Scott. Get a gander of what this one's. Oh my God. Look at that retracement, Joseph. Off the top. We're 50% off the top. So we got to get 100% to get back to all-time highs. Oh, wow. Yeah, that was definitely a trade. Yeah, you feel like that wasn't on fundamentals. Anyway, looks like it's been caught in a bit of a range here, Scott. For the most part, $100 has been a good support level. There is obviously that Liberation Day low that we have to account for, but that's normal, right? Because it did drop, everything dropped below key areas of technical support at the time. I like it off $100, Scott, like over as a swing, I'm just saying. I definitely like that $100 area. Otherwise, let's have a look at the intraday. Look, yeah, great upward channel, umpteen amount of respect pullbacks into the 10 EMA on the 5. That's where I'd be picking it up, Scott. I don't know where you're picking it up from. Well, you said you picked it up on the open right off the bell, and that's money because you're well in the money. If you picked it up off the bell, doesn't matter from the high or the low, Scott, you're in the money, so shout out to you. Here's the 10 EMA right now, pulling into the 10 EMA at $112. Let's see if it holds that level. It's 112.90 HOD on RDDT. So we're going to keep an eye out on that one. Did I get my ad on, Givo? Not quite yet. Still waiting at that $135. Likely should be moving that up, but we'll see. I did work my way into a new position here, half or quarter position here on TNGX. I've set up several dip trades to get better prices. It looks like there is a seller at 60, and we're kind of putting a topping tail candle with lower lows and lower highs. So we'll see if this one has anything left in the tank, so to speak. We're getting in small share size here so we can manage and add to the position. I didn't mention this one, but it looks like it's coming into a key area here. Little Uzi Vert. VUZI, nice move into that 3 1/4. Now we're kind of moving down into that low or that 3 single-digit area. 305 is where the volume weighted average price is. It looked like it had a lot of support at 10, and that made sense because that was a previous area of resistance right at that 10 o'clock area. It clears it, comes back to it, holds it, but now it's losing it. So it looks like it's stair-stepping down. That last step better be the volume weighted average price. Otherwise, I want nothing to do with it. You guys know how I roll. If it doesn't hold that VWAP, we want nothing to do with it. So I'm going to keep my eye here on little Uzivert to see if we can work into that. Also, MODV. Look, this one, the money fills look like they're at or below the volume weighted average price. It's also spready for a dollar name, so be careful with this one. And as you can see, it looks like it's forming a bull flag, but when you look at the consolidation area of the bull flag, it's got very wide range per candle. Not really, no. So 139 high a day. And then that low end of the range for the consolidation area, the bull flag, about $1.16. So maybe somewhere in and around there, that could be a good buy area. We'll keep tabs on that. So that's all I'm involved in. I'm involved in your boy Givo. I'm involved in your boy TNGX. HKD has dropped below the volume weighted average price, so it no longer interests me.
All right, nice. Yeah, good look there, guys. Yeah, so I mean, Tyler Verse, we're still sitting in this, brother. I got that pop on this ad here, but now you can see where my average is sitting at, 1638, so I won't take a loss on this trade. If we have to get stopped out break even, it puts us at a pretty good position right here. I mean, if it cracks this pivot low, then there's going to be some more downside. I'll talk about some of these big names, Amazon and Apple, continuing to just put in new lows on the session here. So that is not going to be a positive sign for the NAS. But here we go. We're getting that kind of push and pull effect as NVDA starts to climb back in towards the volume weighted average price. But then the likes of Amazon and Apple are starting to move lower. And then that's why we can see a lot of chop in and around these specific areas there, guys. And Google as well, too, relatively weak. So come on, Tesla. Come on, Elon and company, and come on, NVIDIA.
Get it, Elon.
Yeah. Start to get this rally going, and see if we can get these big names to start bouncing. I mean, I don't understand. For me, like, again, I see a lot of people in the chat are frustrated and everything. Totally so, rightfully so. I get it. It can be most definitely frustrating. And for me, it's just like, oh, this is why the market sometimes can be so difficult. It's because yesterday you get this massive move up in the post market, and there's zero continuation. You get that move right back to where we ended. We're literally at closing price right now, almost. Like we're south of closing price. So we make this massive move higher, and then it's just like, okay, let's start profit taking, and then make price go even lower than what we closed at yesterday. So no continuation within that strength, and I thought maybe we would see some more, but the market maker's saying, not today, guys. We're not going to have this type of party. This isn't the fiesta you were looking for, and we're going to continue to move to the south side. So yeah, that's that there, guys. I don't have too much more before I get stopped out, which is kind of unfortunate. I did take some off, but just not enough. I'm still sitting on about like 40% of my position there, looking for the crack of this pivot, but that downtrend, it's still still fully intact, and the big names continuing to move lower. So yeah, we don't got much more room here before we do get that break-even stop out. So we'll monitor it here live. 38s, I'm going to get out of this trade. There's no way I'm going to allow a winning trade like this turn into a losing one. So I have no issues of just getting out exactly when I need to, and that's going to be momentarily here, guys. Unless we get things to turn around here on a dime. Nice little pop up there. Give me some more breathing room, please, and thank you. That would be much warranted, but you got to just do what the market's telling you, and if it comes back, then we'll have to find another trade. So it's Fiesta, but I'm talking about party. Siesta is
Siesta sleep, isn't it?
Siesta sleep. I'm saying fiesta. Yeah. I'm saying party. Right, Alan A. I don't know if you're Spanish, but yeah, that's what I was referring to. Was just a
party. Don't get me started. I want to vent. Okay. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So, I'm going along my merry way.
Okay.
I'm doing my Mandarin on Duolingo.
Yep.
I open up the app. All of a sudden, all the levels that I cleared and wait, Joseph. All the levels that I cleared, it says I cleared them, but like there's two ways to clear them. You can do like the regular completion, and then you can do something called like super or something like that. Yeah, you get more points, okay?
You get more points.
Fine. So all my supers are gone. So I'm like, okay, the circles are no longer golden. They're green or blue, whatever the color is. So they're no longer golden. So I'm like, what the hell is this? So I click on it. Bro, It's a brand new lesson. They changed all the lessons.
Yeah, they changed a lot.
I was gonna smash my iPad. I literally had to start Mandarin from beginning. It's not funny.
No, but it's good though because I did that with my Duolingo when I got a new phone. I had to start, but then it's good because you just like, obviously you have a lot of ground to gain, but it's frustrating.
You know about this?
You get
Assassino? This happened to you? Assassino knows, bro. Bro, I literally am starting. Okay, so that's the bad news. The good news is they're teaching me the same words in the lessons that I'm redoing, but they're also showing you how to say different sentences using those same words. So I'm okay with that. Anyway, apparently they updated it. It's supposed to be better now. We'll find out. I was fuming. Adara, what's going on up there?
Here we do have Bloomberg reporting that the U.S. is saying it might ask the Supreme Court to keep tariffs intact on Friday. Now, when they say the U.S., they don't specify who, presumably the Trump administration. But either way, Bloomberg reporting that apparently the U.S. is considering asking the Supreme Court to keep tariffs intact on Friday. We know that the trade-related court had basically said these reciprocal tariffs had to be struck down because they were, I guess they had to invoke a specific act in order to put them into place. Aluminum tariffs were not accepted because this act was not invoked for the aluminum tariffs. But I want to let you guys know as well here, we might get a little bit more clarity coming through around 1 p.m. Eastern. Why? Because that's when Caroline Leavitt, who is the White House press secretary, is set to hold a briefing. So keep an ear peeled for 1 p.m. in about an hour or so from now, which is when you're going to get a White House press briefing from the White House press secretary. Might provide some more clarity. Either way, right now, Bloomberg reporting that the U.S. is likely looking to ask the Supreme Court to keep these tariffs in place, but apparently that will not happen until tomorrow. Back to you.
D-Loaf, iPad versus Sharif. Doesn't end well for iPad. Bro, I would never do that to my iPad, bro. I covet my iPad.
You just got that last year.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 12.9.
If you did fight the iPad, Sharif, I have to say, if you did fight the iPad, I'm going to not place my bets on the iPad. I think you beat the iPad. I
wouldn't do that to the iPad. It cost me too much money.
That's what I'm saying if it came to that. If your Duolingo-related frustrations grew and boiled over.
There will be no slippers thrown this time, Adira, I promise. Yeah, it's good to know. All right. No, seriously, guys, I was super frustrated with that. Like, I'm going along, I'm achieving levels, I'm clearing levels, I'm gaining XP. I'm thinking, I'm close to finishing Section 2. And if anybody who's done Section 2 in Mandarin knows it's like 30-something lessons, so it's insane. And so I had to start from the beginning, but I feel okay about it because I'm really reinforcing all the stuff that I've learned.
That's what I'm saying. That was the positive.
Yeah.
You get to go back. The grammar stuff is really what messed me up in Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah. So it took me a while to get in there. Dude, I used to have notes. Like, I was writing all this stuff down. I was like,
well, I take screenshots. So it's the same crap.
Just, like,
same crap.
Notes. I'm like, okay, this is this. But it's good stuff. I like Duolingo. And I like it's free. Dude, do you know what happened? I don't know how, but I had the unlimited package. I didn't pay for anything, but I had the unlimited hard.
You got dual, what's it called? Super Duolingo?
Yeah.
You got Super?
But I got it for free somehow.
Sometimes they give it to you.
Yeah. And then obviously it went back to the one.
They give you promotions like try 3 days.
No, it wasn't even that. For a whole year I almost had it, dude.
What?
Yeah. My boy's like, you definitely paid.
100%. It probably went on one of your credit cards or something like that.
No, I went and I looked at my subs for nothing. So yeah,
that's crazy.
I got it free. Yeah, I don't know how I lucked out on that one, but let's go. Your boy got that one for free.
Yeah, I kind of hate you a little bit now.
I mean, it is, but I don't have it anymore. It's gone. It's gone.
Okay. I know, right? It's on Selena's credit card. Watch, bro. Watch.
Sure. But no, Trader Lingo. Yeah, I need Trader Lingo. There you go. That's a good one there, Crystal Ball. But yeah, here we go, guys. Come on, market. Let's get this bounce. I think Tesla can definitely get rolling too as well if it decides to bounce here because it's holding up stronger. But then the issue is if it decides to take another leg lower and you kind of get that capitulation here in the price action and the other party just saying, all right, we're not going to we can't battle this anymore. We don't have enough supply. Then if we crack through some 1635s, et cetera, then there might be a new low of the day here implemented here on Tesla. But I'm still steady looking for this bounce. It's unfortunate that Bitcoin isn't trading relatively well, but I talked about it going on the run that we've seen, right? You want to see breadth because I'm just waiting for any form of indecision on Bitcoin during this pullback for me to just punch some contracts heavy, heavy. And that's my game plan. I'm really looking forward to that trade. I had some offers out for some NVDA, more NVDA contracts, I should say, considering I sold the rest of mine. But I had some orders out for more contracts. But then on that earnings report, it just blew to 143. So I'm like, let me just eliminate those. I'll reassess the situation and what's going on. But IBIT is starting to play out how I want to. Just going to wait for some key levels to be touched in Bitcoin itself, and then I think there's going to be a good opportunity to punch some heavy contracts there, Sharif.
Bang. All right, Joseph, we're doing it freaking live on MODV. This is why I love layering my prints like this, guys. You just set up those resting orders, let it take care of business. Now, MODV did this for a reason. As I mentioned, this one obviously has a very wide range per candle. If you were to look at the actual price of the stock and the percentage move, and then look at the actual move per candle, it's actually quite wide. So I kind of had a feeling if I picked it up at the lower end of the range, and I'll submit to you that I did. What do I got here? $1.25. $1.25 is right at the volume weighted average price, and I've scalped up all the way to the $1.35. So 125 was the volume weighted average price. I've taken up to 135. I've layered my orders 6, 7, and 8. Let's see how this one does, keeping my eye out on that one. Jivo, somebody was asking me for an update on Jivo. As you can see there, I'm still waiting for that dollar cost average to get in. So I got one position here at 38. It showed me 36s. My dip trade at 35 is still going unfilled at the moment. So I'm keeping my eye on this one. But as I was telling the individual in the chat, the loss of VWAP here ends the trade for me for Jivo. And I don't mind losing on here. And here's why. Because the relative to where the volume weighted average price is and my initial entry at 38, we're talking 3 pennies. So I'm fine with this trade. Okay, let's see what it does. And I'll pack my patience on that one. It's really dropping in volume. That doesn't please me, obviously, but we'll see if there are resting orders in and around that volume weighted average price for another bump up. Another stock that I'm involved in right now, TNGX, punching in at highs. It's still holding up at the highs. And now the last 3 candles on the 5-minute chart have all shown me higher lows, but they're all suffering from the same affliction. What is that affliction? Topping tail candles. Well, what does that mean? That means someone's aggressively profit taking or shorting at that exact level, and they're doing it over and over and over again. So I am kind of concerned about this 260 level right now, acting as a bit of a resistance. It just worked its way up into 62s and then was met with some selling. So I'm going to pack my patience on this one. I've already set up 2 dip trades, one at the 10 exponential and one to front run VWAP. Let's see if either of them trigger. Neither has at the moment. The Piper, how about TNGX Tango, baby? HBIO doing well. Let's have a look at HBIO. I think someone mentioned that to me earlier. Yeah, it's 84 pennies. Look, the Piper, it's a fantastic looking chart. Bovin was telling me about it. A couple of other guys did tag me telling me about HBIO. It's up 200% or they're just about. It's a sub $1 name. I'm just going to stay away from these. I think there's a lot of small cap gappers already running on the day. I don't need to chase the ones that are sub $1. So there we go. TNGX just filled me now at that $0.50. Now still got another dip trade at 45 to front run the volume weighted average price. So let me tell you, TNGX, same story as Jivo. This thing loses VWAP, it's all over. We're getting out of this trade. So
crying. It's all over but the crying.
But the crying. Yeah. Well, Neil said not to get upset.
Okay, we don't.
So crying usually means that you're kind of upset there a little bit.
Tears of joy, maybe.
Yeah, tears of joy. Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, it makes sense. No, seriously though, TNGX got to hold above VWAP. Otherwise, I want no smoke. So we'll set up some orders there now that we got the ad at the $0.50. That's what I'm keeping my eye on. As I can see though, Jivo is kind of rounded top, and that's a no good. But that's the bad side. What's the good side, Sharif? Well, it's above the volume weighted average price. So that's what I'm looking at. SBET, guys, I should probably work into this and then just not look at it because it is really respecting the volume weighted average price. And now it's kind of giving me that curl, right? Where the higher lows and higher highs, it's awfully spready. It's awfully expensive. It's awfully crazy, as we saw from a couple of days ago. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me throw to the half here, the 30-minute chart, and then you can kind of get a gander as to what this thing did. All right, guys, so from the pre-market, when we were trading at $5 to the high of the day, this was Tuesday. We were up 1,000 1,075%. This thing is nuts. Be careful. And we know we're likely going to encounter resistance at $50. Look at that. I mean, sure, we got to 53, but it was on a wick basis. The half-an-hour candle all closed below 50. So keep your eye out on that level. If SBET works its way up to 50, look for resistance there initially, and then you don't know, it can clear it. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on. Oh, baby, MODV is the gift that keeps on freaking giving. We just got all out of this trade. All right, so this one is done. This one was actually quite good. So we're done our trade on MODV. Let's see what we can do now with that $1.50. It's up 55%. The volume's not really dropping off, guys. We got about 500,000 shares per 5-minute candle. So $1.40 HOD right now on MODV.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, guys, so yeah, let's do it. Let's go over some of the top performing sectors
do it live.
on the session. We are most definitely going to be doing it live. Did you watch any of the basketball last night?
Basketball?
Yeah, no.
Basketball? We're talking about basketball?
You talking basketball?
Nah, bro. You want to talk football, soccer, or boxing?
All right, well, boxing. Ooh. Yeah. Somebody just got surgery. I think. Oh, you told me that.
Ryan, he's out 6 weeks.
Yeah.
He said something was wrong with his hand with the what's it called? The Rolly fight.
Oh yeah.
He hurt his hand during the Rolly fight. That's what he's saying.
He's saying. That's why he wasn't throwing too much. Maybe, I don't know. They was having an excuse, but I've been watching a lot of Chris Eubanks Sr. Like YouTube
bro,
shorts.
He
I love him.
is what is that?
Bro, I love
Hold on,
him.
You need to go back to when Junior was like an actual teenager.
Yeah.
Or he was actually a little bit younger than that. Maybe like 12, 13, 11, something like that, right? Anyway, so he's telling his dad, he's like, I want to learn how to box.
Yeah.
And his dad's like debating it, speaking to himself. And then at the camera is filming, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Adair, 1 sec. So he's like, basically at the end of the day, he's like, you just say the word. Yeah. And you can box. He's like, Dad, I just said I want to box. Stop saying that. Why are you talking to the camera like that? His dad's nuts, bro. His dad's nuts.
I love him. We're gonna go to Adara. Talk about
get it, Adara.
Senior.
Keep an eye here on SMR. This is, of course, new scale power. I'm seeing this. I checked on Benzinga. It looks like this initially started surfacing about 5 minutes ago, but it's really only showing up on X right now. Basically, apparently Reuters reported citing a document, unnamed document here, that apparently the U.S. nuclear power regulator has approved NuScale Power's 77 megawatt reactor design. So according to this document, the company's 77 megawatt reactor design has been approved. Keep an eye on GM as well. I'm just seeing comments coming through here. Apparently the company's CFO is saying that they expect they'll be repurchasing shares in the second half of 2025. This is by no means an announcement, but just some commentary here from the company's CFO. Again, GM apparently speculating on potential share repurchases in the second half of 2025. So they could start as soon as, the next couple of months, guys. Back to you.
For that, Adair.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the top performing sectors. I'm looking for that one where he's like, oh yeah, this one. He's like to Junior. He's like, yeah, would you like a sweetie? And he's like, yeah. Junior's like, yeah, I'll take a Smartie. He's like, oh yeah, Smarties. And then he's like, an absolute stupendous confectionery of candy. It's just like his language.
Do you think he's acting there, or that's? I think that's just how he is.
That's how he was like that.
Was he acting?
Like when he was younger, when he fought is it Connor Ben Senior, or was it Senior?
I didn't watch him.
Nigel Ben,
yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, we'll just have some parliamentary refinement here, please. And he's like trying to talk out of shit. I love him, man. He's absolutely.
And the fur coats, bro. And the whole persona.
And he'll start speaking like patois. And he's like, oh, sorry. He'll like snap right back.
Really?
And he's like, oh, sorry. Speaking my mother's native tongue.
Is he Jamaican? I didn't know he was Jamaican. Okay, nice.
All right, guys. Screen, please.
Boom.
Let's go. All right. Top performing sectors.
What do we got?
Here's the tech sector. We're up about 0.4% here, guys. Real estate, 0.3, and then healthcare sitting in that third place, up about 0.3 as well. To the bottom three, we got the materials down about 0.1% there, and then consumer staples down about 1/5 as well, and then consumer communication services, down 1% on the session there, guys. So that is your top three and bottom three performing sectors on the day. Now, let's see if we can catch another high here. Okay, let's go Tesla. Who was in this trade here with me? I seen someone in the chat was mentioning it. Boom, we'll take a little bit more off there. They're like, yeah, we're sitting on the backside of this trend. I'm like, yeah, let's hold, let's see if we can continue on this momentum to the top side. If the market decides that it wants to bounce, I believe considering that Tesla was holding up relatively well, if we get that bounce, then we can continue to climb higher. This is the key pivot that we need to break through. And I'll say it once again, this is why it was so important for me to be patient. If I were to have added right here, then my break even, I would have been stopped out by this liquidity grab right here. But instead, I was patient, waiting for that turnaround, and that's exactly what we got here, and it's displayed within the charting. So I'm glad that we had the ability to grab this. I'm glad that I was patient, and most definitely, I'm more than happy to have shown you guys, like, hey, this is how we do things over here at Trader TV.
This is how we do. Hey, all right. Tyler verse Sharif Jivo getting some support, hoping for a good curl up here soon. Well, we're at VWAP, brother, so this is gonna make or break time for it. You know, true to form, I'm gonna have my out a couple of shekels south of the volume weighted average price, only for stop hunting. Obviously, we know that that is a thing. Traders do it, market makers do it. They all stop hunt, so keep your eye out on that. But I'm gonna have to interrupt my analysis here. MODV is coming in down fast and furious here. Whoa, 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 right into the volume weighted average price. Is this another add area here? So here's the deal. I'm going long. I'm going to give it to 117, and then come what may. If it drops, it drops. We're already positive on it. So what do we got? 24s. So let's layer some orders to the possible top side move over here. As you know, just like I did before, we're going to try to give this a little bit of room, but you just really never know with these ones. Sometimes it's all over and the trade is done. Oh, okay. Wow, Joseph, I love these ones off technical levels, man. All right, here we go. We're doing it freaking live. As you see, we're doing it live right now. So let's take out some more here on MODV as this one pops up quite aggressively off that area low. So as I said, this one has a wide range per candle, and if it's got a wide range per candle, use that to your advantage by gauging where the areas of support and resistance can be. That's kind of why I did there, and I'm no great trader or anything like that, just trying to put the odds on my side. So we got some shares here on MODV. It is the gift that keeps on giving, keeps on wicking into that volume weighted average price, maybe just a skosh below, and then it's met with aggressive buying. How many shares do I have left? So we still got some shares on here. I don't want to take out too much in case we get another price spike. But here's the deal now. Now that we've taken out the majority of the shareage, the stop moves up. So we're in at that $1.24. So we're going to put it at a $1.22. So we'll risk a couple of pennies on the remaining amount here, but I will give it a wide spread because this thing is crazy. So let me just cancel the old order there. The old, oh wow, I have a lot of these script orders over here, Joseph, on MODV that all need to be cleaned up. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go 22s, and then we're going to give it down into 17s just in case, So that's the one that's doing well. TNGX, we're going to take a punch in the face there. This one is losing VWAP. Anything below 234, it's all over. It's showing me a 37s. So this one will be an L if it continues to bleed here. And kind of sad about that. Let me tell you why. Because this one was the one that I earmarked as a buy program. It looks as if maybe these buy program ones are not so good because when the buy program gets shut off, it's not traders that are keeping this up. It was the buy program. That's kind of what I feel with this one. So we'll see if this one pops up. I've moved up my stop. What do you got?
Wow, look at that tank. Yeah, that's why you got to get out when you're supposed to get out, guys. The market just took another aggressive leg to the downside. I still had about 35% of my position. I can't complain, though, because we just axed a big amount there. I took about 3 losses on... 3 or 4 losses on Nvidia, and then just one trade just eliminated.
Something happened there, yeah?
Yeah, there's definitely a big leg to the downside there, Shreve.
Oh my
I mentioned
God.
that Apple and Amazon most definitely raining on the parade. You can see that what I was referring to earlier on Tesla as well too, is that if we lose it and we want to catch up to what the market is doing, then there you go. You see that aggressive move to the downside. So that's why you have to pay attention to your positions there, guys. Adara, what do you got for us?
I don't have anything to explain this market-wide move here yet, though of course I'm keeping an eye out, but I do have something on Boeing here. Apparently the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA, is extending this program that allows Boeing to perform some agency tasks for 3 years, but they'll be closely monitoring the company. So potentially not market moving, but just keep an eye on BA here. here's the market. The Nasdaq going from bright green, of course, led by Nvidia on earnings day one, to actually red on the day, down 0.13%. S&P 500 down 0.18%. So the entire market taking a nice green to red move here on this Thursday, this monumental Thursday. We have the last of the Mag 7 names reporting for Q1 2025 or 2026. Let's take a look here at some of these earnings plays that are not Nvidia. CRM was doing quite nicely, or trying to push back up above VWAP, but giving this back with the rest of the market. Still making some lower highs and higher lows. Not a bad report here for CRM, but certainly a push to the downside. TSLA, as Joey just mentioned, they're also pushing to the downside. This one was on watch. Elon Musk, CEO of the company, a noted special government employee, announcing that he's not going to be serving in that special government role anymore. He's only allowed to do so for 130 days out of the calendar year, as, I guess, part of the designation of a special government employee. And those 130 days run out at the end of this month in terms of how long Trump's been president. So keep an eye here in TSLA. Elon Musk also announced that there's these little robo-taxis, or these unmanned vehicles just flitting around Texas, Austin, Texas. So keep an eye here on this market. Make sure to like and subscribe. And if you like market-related content, check us out on X at TTV Research. I am posting all the time on there. I'm going to be keeping an eye out here, though, to see if there's any news on this market, because, yeah, it looks like we did get this EIA gasoline inventories. Not sure if that's going to be what's moving here. But we are going to be having some other things on watch at 1 p.m. We've got the 7-year note auction, and we also have the White House press conference with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Back to you.
Someone's truth, something. Oh, all right. Drop everything.
Can you guys hear that, by the way? Throw up ones in the chat if you guys could hear that. I'm not going to say what it was, but if you can.
You can hear that.
Do you think they can hear that?
Maybe.
Assassino, could you hear that on your headset? No, Assassino couldn't hear it, so, you know, probably they can hear
you.
Supposed
says,
you heard. Well, you're with us here.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Everybody's throwing up ones there.
The OG Darwin. All right, Darwin, what was the noise then? Tell us, Darwin.
Tell us, Darwin.
I love it. I love it. Doorbell. Okay, I can hear it. One.
Barely.
Oh, you did? Okay, gotcha. That's Assassino. He's stacking the deck. He's before we asked, eh? He's still stacking the deck, though. I like that.
Someone said barely, and that just reminds me of like some of the old school memes where that one girl, she's like, "I'm legally blind. I could see barely." Everybody remember? Yeah, I never seen that one.
No.
Yeah. She's like, "How am I gonna steal a car?" She's like, "I'm legally blind. I can see."
Miss Pelosi, I'm gonna have to block you.
Why?
Yeah, well, because we don't want any insider trading, chat.
So if Mr. and Miss Pelosi were to say, "Hey, Sharif, I got this hot stock. You're not paying any mind to it?"
No, Joseph.
Okay.
That would be insider trading, and that is illegal. You can go to jail.
Lasers.
Like Martha Stewart.
Oh, yeah. Whatever happened to Martha, cooking with Martha there?
She's killing it, bro. She's living back
to
her
episode of Law and Order, for those who didn't know, actually, as
really?
well. Complete random side note. She played like a principal of a school, and she was in one scene, and it could have been a role literally played by anybody. So it was just pretty jarring. But yeah, shout out to Martha Stewart, and I miss having this door power.
Get it, Martha. Ram said that she's got her own documentary too, so she's obviously doing things. She talks about her what? Her screens? Her experiences in jail.
In jail too. I wonder if
that's interesting.
I wonder if she got one of the privilege jobs over there.
You think she was protected on the inside, Joseph?
Of course.
Do you think that she had her what's it called? Her commissary regularly filled up?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, anything for Martha.
Think she was trading cigarette for food?
I would.
Like that? Yeah. Well, what do they do?
I would be the #1 hustler, and if I ever, I'd be like, "Hey man, I got it. What do you need?"
I love it. You're like Morgan Freeman in Shawshank, right? Yeah.
Get everything needed.
Red.
Red.
Yeah, red something or another right there. Uh-oh, he's back. Today, big smile, Burdette. Shout out to him. Big smile, $4.99 super chat. Who said bear? Here he is, Martha Fire for a woman her age. Okay, big smile. We weren't going there, but you want to go there. That's your prerogative, my man. No, I'm not going to comment on that other than to say I like her cooking and I like her design choices.
You like her cooking, so you've had some of Martha's cooking.
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I'm just pretending. The Chilean Nightmare wants to know what else I like about Martha Stewart. I don't know, bro. I don't know what else she got to offer, baby.
You tell us,
So
Andre.
she got some money. Clearly, she's got some
tell
money.
us, brother.
You tell us. I love it. There's very few topics that are kind of off limits on this show. We try to keep it clean, but we'll keep it funny, baby. And I hope you guys can enjoy some of the humor with Joseph and I. Obviously, we're just chuckling over here. Breakfast at Martha's. Damien says, yeah, I wouldn't. Look, bro, if I got an invite.
Cooking breakfast.
If I got an invite from Martha Stewart, I'm going, I'm taking flowers, I'm bringing cakes, I'm doing everything to impress this woman.
You're bringing Martha Stewart cake.
I'm going to cook the cake myself.
Okay.
Yeah, because if she likes it, I got an in.
All right,
all of a sudden, I could license my, you know what, right? Like, there we go.
You can start cooking with Sharif.
Cooking with Sharif. It's going to be eggs 24/7. and
Straight protein.
oh, my God. Thank you, Adara. That's hilarious.
Excellent show with Sharif.
All right, guys, we're doing it live right now. Let's talk about this TNGX trade. I've got my stop right below 235. It didn't trigger quite yet. We're out of the money. We're 13 pennies out of the money on this one. This doesn't look good for me here. Let's just call a spade on TNGX. This is going to be the first loser on the day. Let's see which way this cookie crumbles. The stop is in place. Nothing for me to do other than to either move back up and take some profits or get stopped out. Simple as that. Your boy GEVO finding a little bit of support here. So we're 2 pennies out of the money on this one. It really depends on what I see coming in the next 15 to 20 minutes here from GEVO of whether or not I stay in this trade or whether I get the hell out. But it's the HBIO show. You guys kept telling me about this one. I kept resisting because it's a sub $1 trade. And here it is, up and to the right. This goes so respectful. HBIO, that is, of that green solid line on my charts there. That is a 10 exponential moving average on the 5. And look, it's got the money fills are all in and around that 10 EMA. You don't need to be a chartered market technician to see that it keeps clearing previous area highs, making new highs, and then dropping, okay? It did it over here. It dropped aggressively. It did it over here. It dropped aggressively. You see the trend here? Over here, drops aggressively. And here it is, dropping aggressively yet again. Now, the winds of change may come for HBIO at that dollar area. We know it's a different trade north and south of $1. So as we get closer to that dollar, be on the lookout for aggressive selling, short selling, profit taking at that dollar area. But this one now has my respect. We're going to try to work into this one in an effective way, as effective as I know how. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But I also wanted to mention quickly here, my trade in MODV, where's that at? We're still holding a piece over here because we've got bottom wick, but I've already moved up my stop, as I told you, to 22s, so we're risking 2 more pennies. This is still holding at VWAP, but it looks like maybe the best trade is behind it right now on MODV. Kind of hard to tell. We'll keep an eye out on this one, Joseph. Yeah. Ronnie, Sharif, no, I asked you if you've watched HBO lately. Brother, I have Crave. Crave is like a Canadian, like it's kind of like a Netflix, but they kind of bring in some American stuff that we don't get directly here, and they like HBO Max, a lot of the other stuff. I never watch it. I don't watch TV. I don't have time to watch TV. I literally get in here at 7:05, 7:10 in the morning. I leave here, as you guys know, 2:45. I hit the gym. I finish the gym at about 5. I go to my other job. Everybody knows my family runs. We have businesses, so I have to go there. I get back 9:30, 10. I'm cooking my food and I'm in bed. I really do not have time for anything like that unless it's on the weekend. And then on the weekend, I'm always with my fam and friends, right? Like, so I really don't. I promise you.
Not too much time for that there. Extensive routine you got there. You get here at 7:05.
Yeah.
Oh,
why? Well, bro, I got to do all these. I got to review all this stuff. It takes a hot minute, right?
So you're there. You're in here bright and early then.
Yeah, I like coming in early though, bro. Because I
gym
get up
5:30.
That's the thing. No, 5.
Oh, 5?
Literally, Joseph, I get out of bed, I go into the next room, and it's like literally, I just put on my gym clothes.
Who is Ashton Hall on you, brother?
Ashton Hall, or what am I? I'm a drop in the bucket compared to Ashton Hall.
Well,
You
I'm
seen this guy?
I said, well, who is he compared to you?
I know
I'm
he's
bigging
a lot
you-
better,
I'm bigging
bro.
you
I
up,
know,
man.
but like that's not realistic.
Come on,
no.
man. Hey, man. Never mind. We got to drop that routine. Maybe you never know. You could go viral. A good, like maybe some Canadian Springs water instead of the Saratoga you can throw in there.
What is that, bro? He's
all right.
killing it like that, though.
Yeah,
Give
he
him
is.
credit.
Apparently-
Give him credit.
Apparently, he has a lot of money. I don't know how much I believe about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So.
He just bought a new place.
Did he?
Yeah, he has. He bought a big ass
big
house,
house?
bro, with a big pool. He just
He had
moved into a new place.
He had a little stint on in the NFL there too.
I'm not reading that, Big Spile. I'm not reading that. But thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, much
He's such
appreciated
a
for that.
liability,
Yeah,
bro. I
big time.
love him. I love it.
Yeah, I look at Miss Katina was calling us the bro show.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause we were
did she?
talking- Yeah. So I like that.
I believe that.
She's saying we were talking about the gym and tarps.
Oh, yeah. That's you. That's all you, homie. You're the tarp soft kind of guy. I know what it is. I just don't talk about it. Yeah.
Tarps off. Got
Bang.
a girl tat. Joseph got a girl tat.
What?
Okay. All right. Anyways, yeah, let's. Yeah, exactly.
What's going on over there,
Give
bro?
Another one of those there. So many.
going on over
beats.
there,
Oh,
bro?
yeah, like so many beats. All right, I kind of like that name. Don't like that comment, but it is what it is. All right, guys, let's see if we can add into this TQ's position. One thing I will note is that we took that initial leg lower, so I don't know how much we're going to bleed on the session, but there is an indecision print right here that I'm looking to get somewhat of a bounce off of. Big engulfing candle right here via both the price action print and in the volume signature there. So I don't have any kids, so there we go.
Got it, Joe.
This is exactly what actually I do have a dog. His name is Milo. That is my my firstborn there. But yeah, here we go. Here is.
Love it,
Yeah,
dude.
I
Love
that
it,
guy,
man.
I love that kid to death, to be honest with you. All right, we're going to add into this position here. Getting a nice bounce in the markets. We now tripled up the size that we were working with.
Oh.
So I get a break of this candle. Enter right here, and then now I add. I'll pull up the TQ's chart, looking for a bounce. Maybe we can get that move back towards the volume-weighted average price. And if we're going to kind of head back into that trajectory, then maybe we can add even more to this position because again, even though I tripled it up, I'm still not as heavy as I would like to be, especially if this is going to be an MR, mean reversion back towards VWAP. And I think that we are slightly overextended on the trading session. The one thing to note, yeah, exactly, Furborn, exactly. So Apple, it's really extended. But one thing I want to point out here, guys, is that look how VWAP is kind of hugging the price action. It's following. So if we do get that move back to there, I think that's going to be a good primary target, is take everything out at the volume-weighted average price and just kind of, well, not everything. You obviously leave a runner. Assess the situation. What is price action telling you? What is the tape telling you as well? You definitely need to look in depth on the book. And then if we have the ability to sit on top and start to recover, then I think that'll be okay. But there is some good clean prints right here, some nice bottoming signals. You can see it in the likes of Apple. And I mentioned this before, if you see the kind of the same pattern across the board, I think that just adds more conviction within the setup. And that's exactly with what I'm going with here on the TQs because I'm seeing a bounce here in some of the big names, Sharif.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you mean?
No. I was responding to Paul Robinson. He's talking about DeepSeek. They released a new reasoning model. So we're gonna do it on the news, guys. Obi's gonna do a lesson of the day in about 5 minutes or so. And then after he does that, when things are calm a little bit, yeah, I got him to do it today, Dara. And then we're gonna do the news as we typically do. But yeah, that is a thing. DeepSeek, guys, overnight coming out with yet another new reasoning model. They call it the R1, R for reasoning, obviously. And apparently it's comparable to the reasoning model that Chat puts out, ChatGPT, that is. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I haven't been using DeepSeek in a while. It was all over the hype. Remember when everybody was using it? I haven't been using it. We have a paid version of Chat for work, and so that's kind of what I use for that. And I haven't really looked back, to be honest with you guys. So that's, yeah, on Uber says DeepSeek is trash. Now, Joseph, I wouldn't ever recommend this or anything like that, and I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. But we know these AIs, these LLMs, are pre-trained on a lot of information. Some good, some bad, some very dangerous. And then, once it learns all that information, they put a filter on it, a safety filter, after pre-training. And that's basically A human added filter.
Yeah, a human added filter.
So if you were, for example, if you were to ask ChatGPT how to manufacture something illegal, it would not tell you.
won't tell you.
There's been prompt engineering to try to weasel around that, and they try to keep closing those loopholes.
Yeah.
The LLMs coming out of China
Yeah.
seem to have a very lax safety filter.
Oh, really?
So I wouldn't want to give anybody any ideas, Joseph, or
You don't
anything
wanna
like
give
that.
any
But I'm just saying.
But I thought you couldn't even talk about Winnie the Pooh over there.
You can't talk about things that they don't want you talking about,
Right.
but the other things.
But if the things is like, hey, if it's going to
Just saying, Joseph.
inflict some damage on somebody,
Just saying, Joseph.
then you know we might turn our head to it.
Yeah, so that's what's being talked about right now in like some of the like again, I showed you guys who I follow on TikTok. He also has a YouTube account. Again, Nate. He's like the guy that I get a lot of my AI information is, and that's really what's being spoken about with a lot of these AI engine. I don't know what they're calling them now. That is kind of the case where the safety filters on a lot of these Chinese AIs is kind of super lax there.
All right, white
Alignment. Thank you,
White
Hypercube.
Nubian King. Okay, I'm not too sure what that means, but 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bang. There we go. Let's go to screen, please. Let's go. TQs.
Show 'em, Joe.
Yeah, we're starting to cook up there. I'm glad we added to this position. And there we go. We can see the strength displayed in the tape, and that's exactly what we're looking for, Sharif.
Oh.
We had those signals displayed across multiple underlying assets, and then we just looked to take advantage of it, playing the broader market. 70-60, I think, is going to be a good place to take some profits on there. So let me post a little bit out. I don't want to take too much. I want to leave a runner here, guys, and then maybe wait for a potential ad opportunity as well. Come on, feel your boy. Feel your boy. Okay, no, we're not feeling that one there. Okay, so I'm just gonna punch that there, Sharif, and take some off. Yeah, boom. I like that. Okay, all right, there we go. Bang, caught that, Phil. We're like seeing that there, guys. And here, I'll display the signal one more time for all my VPA traders. That is going to be Gorev. I know you were looking at something on Apple, and that's what kind of was displayed, right? Across Amazon, Apple, and Google, we see these this indecision print at a low and an engulfing candle and an engulfing volume print leading before that. So that is a good positive signal. Gorev, I know you're a VPA trader and you absolutely excel at it. So for a while now, I never really registered it as well as I possibly have. But before we get these kind of indecision prints at extreme lows, always keep an eye out for just before we get that print. The previous one, keep an eye out for a massive engulfing candle and then also an engulfing volume print too. So keep that in mind. Yeah, it helps a lot. And I've been noticing it more and more often. I've noticed it a while ago, but I just never really put it into place or implemented it within the trading system, but it's working out relatively well today. And yeah, we're continuing to climb in the TQs. Glad I only took a little bit off there, only about 10%. And then now I'm just looking to continue this climb up here in the market.
All right, man, looking good there. I'm still holding a piece here. Well, I just actually got into HBIO. It did double bottom kind of at that 77 penny area. Let's see if we can kind of get a bit of a move up. I'm waiting at 83s, 84s. So that HBIO, it's a big mover on the day, about 184%, but it is still south of that $1 area, so keep a look out there. Yannick telling me there's news on Meta. Let me have a look. Meta fired Palmer Luckey. What? No, that's not it. Assessing Meta. What is the news on Meta? I'm not seeing anything on my blotter. I'm just seeing that they fired Palmer Luckey. Meta, Palmer Luckey used to work at Meta? Well, whatever. That's really of no interest to me at the moment. So let me know what it is, Yannick. Dara's not seeing anything either, so let me know what it is, brother, because I personally don't have anything there. Again, let me just focus on HBIO here for a second. So I'm looking to add right around here at the 20 exponential moving average, and I will be adding at the volume weighted average price. So let's go ahead and wait right now at 72s and then 69. So I'm going to put my order here for 72s. Let's go 0.72, and then we're also going to wait at 0.69 for the same area there. So we'll see what we get, and we will not get upset with HBIO. Still south of that dollar. We'll see what we get there on HBIO. What else we got over here? Still holding GVO. GVO's doing nothing. We got stopped out of the MODV trade. It's a good trade so far, but it did lose a volume weighted average price, so it no longer interests me at that level. What else we got over here? Nothing really happening on NTCL or VUZI. ASST was in focus as well. TNGX has just absolutely lost the volume weighted average price, so that doesn't matter to me at all. Andril and Meta team up. Okay, let me read that a little bit more. Let me read that a little bit more. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, I got it, Adair. We're going to send it to Adair. She's going to give you a better rerun.
So yeah, sorry guys, I just looked into this about 13 minutes ago. Andril announced via, I guess its blog, that apparently it's teaming up with Meta to design, build, and field a range of integrated, I guess, XR products. So this is a partnership that they're saying comes at a pivotal time in the evolution of national defense. So this defense partnership with noted company in the space, Andril, here for META. Worth noting, it still can't get over VWAP, guys. Back to you.
Go TQs there. Sharif, you got anything to cover here? Yeah. We'll pull up my screen here. All right, we're getting another little pop in the TQs. You can see that we're running into this base here, so that was once prior support, is now acting as resistance. And Pug Life, you nailed that on the head. That's exactly what it is. It's an exhaustive candle. It's not displayed in the VPA that we're necessarily looking for, but then look what's to come to follow. So there you go, beautiful stuff there. Pug Life on it as well. But let's go here in the TQs. We're going to trim a little bit, take some off here as we climb higher. There we go, bang. Let's do this thing. If we can get another pullback, I think there's going to be an add opportunity, and maybe we get a big time recovery in this market. I mean, nothing is guaranteed. Glad we got out of Tesla at the right time because it headed right back towards that low of the day. But if Apple and Amazon are like, okay, yeah, let's recover, break through the volume weighted average price, and then start to climb higher and head into the territory that it was in the post market yesterday, then yeah, I think that's going to be a good day. Yeah, I mean, we were selling yesterday, I believe too. So yeah, I believe I was part of the session. But yeah, I mean, the part of the session was weak. I mean, the first hour or so, you did get a small recovery, but then heading into the close, you kind of just ran right back into the lows of the session, and then boom, that news comes out, and then you climb higher and higher. I call that the Joseph trade. Yeah, what's that? This one here, dude, that's such a nice trade. Literally your setup signature. Yeah, I appreciate that, Klua. You call that the Joseph? Yeah, we can call it that there, but I think yeah, it's more of a VPA. Much appreciated, and that's what we're looking for. And I've been talking about it since I've been sitting at this desk. A lot, and I'm glad that a lot of people are starting to adapt that style of trading as well too, because I think these signals are really, really important. And I mention it time and time again, is that each individual candle can tell a specific story, and it's our job to kind of decipher that and place on trades. And I'm glad to have done that right here.
Bang, man, bang, absolutely. All right, guys, we're still nursing some of these trades here. What are we? We're about 5 pennies out of the money right now on HBIO. Still waiting for a retracement into VWAP. Got a couple of dollar cost average resting orders that still have gone untriggered. Initial entry at 81s with the beak there at 83s, but this one is now aggressively selling off after getting to that 95 penny area, 94.5. So let's see if we get triggered on some orders to the downside here on HBIO. Got a couple of shares on this one. Let's see if we can get some more to the top side over here. But it is really the story of freaking SBET. So 45.21 just took out 46s. Let's see if we can get above 46. There's a seller now. Boom! Boom into 46.35. So we're $1 in the money on this one. All right, let's see if we can get some more on SBET. This is the crazy one that went almost 1,000%. On Tuesday. I keep thinking it was Monday, but I keep forgetting that Monday was a day off. We got one order here that didn't trigger, even though it should have, because it got up to 46.33, but we know how this works. It has to cross on the ask to get filled. It's not just enough to get on the bid to get filled. It's not just enough to get crossed up on the ask. Why I like here SBET, number one, the support area has been quite obvious. It's been the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. For whatever reason, it seems to be respecting the 20. I don't care why. I just know that it's doing it. Once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times, every single wick or closing print defending that 20 exponential. That's the yellow line on my black charts. That always will be. Here we go. We're taking out highs. Boom! we take it out at the $0.50. Let's set up a little bit more. Now you know where I'm going to sit. If we're in the 60s, you already know. I don't want anyone asking. All right, now we're going to sit at 69s, and then we're going to wait up for a 47 break and take. I'm going to wait at 47.25. That'll be a 2-banger if we can get that. So right now, keep your eye on SBET. Curling up, beautiful curl, and a hold of the 20 exponential moving average. It was so strong it couldn't even move down into VWAP. So keeping my eye on SBET right now, looking for that top break. But let me tell you what the deal is. The deal is if this loses the prior bar low at 44.50, we're getting out. So we're moving up our stop from 43, and we're going to do that. Joseph, tell them what's up.
Tell them what's up. We've been showing you the homepage of Trade the Pool for a while now, but today we want to highlight a section of the site that you may have missed. And trust us, you want to check this out, guys.
Trust me, bro.
It's Trade the Pool's video on demand library, and it's so much more than just content. It's a space built to help traders grow with real stories of funded traders, strategy breakdowns, hard lessons, and mindset tips you can actually apply in your own trading. And there's more. The note feature allows you to save the most valuable takeaways from the video so you can quickly revisit the exact moments that mattered. It's like your own personal bookmark. The best part, Sharif, it's completely free. If you haven't explored it yet, now's the time. Head to tradethepool.com and click on the BOD library tab. Wow, okay, all right. Yay, man, the advancements here are getting insane. I can't even keep up with all this stuff. Yeah, good stuff there from Trade the Pool, guys. Go check that out. You can also scan the QR code. I'm pointing, for some reason, like you guys can see what I'm pointing at. I always do that. But yeah,
point it, Joe.
Yeah, point it. There it is, over there.
There it is, baby.
With the fawns, yeah. All right, what does the fawn say? What does he say? Hey.
The fawns?
Yeah, hey.
I don't know, bro.
Hey. Yeah, I don't even know what it is. I'm not going to go there.
I don't even know what it is, Joseph.
But yeah, here it is. TQs, man. Let's see what's Katina Man got.
Hold on. The Katina Man's back. And he's consuming his food. Katina Man, can we show him? We're gonna have to pause for a little bit. I know he's like mid bite. He's got the fork. He's all ready to go. There we go. We got the poutine. We got poultry right there. Yeah, no, not poutine. There we got the what do you call it? Linguine. What is it? Pasta salad. He just wants his food back. We're taking the man's food. Sorry, Katina Man. There you go, brother.
Hey, I'm a
what a
big
good sport.
Guy. He's a good sport, man. I always ask for some, but get none. But that's okay.
So why do you have your own, homie?
Yeah, we have our own. Yeah, sharing is caring, brother.
It is true. It is true.
Yeah, I mean, let's get back into these markets and see if we can get this bounce to be sustained. Is there going to be an add opportunity? I think so. So if we don't climb higher on the break of this consolidation, one thing that I will look out for, and it's going to be the exact same thing that we've seen here on TSLL, as long as it doesn't stop me out break even, then we get this pullback here, and then that's going to be the add opportunity, and then we look for the move back into this support zone, which is now acting as resistance, and then north of that, so you get to the top end of this range, and then you then you trade back into the volume weighted average price. So that's the game plan. If it does display that, if it continues to be strong and we see the big names also start to recover here in the day, then I think there's going to be an opportunity in this consolidation zone that we have to add. So as long as we're constructing these higher lows, then I think our lower highs, I always mix those up. Higher lows is what I'm looking for. Then I think that we can have a good potential big time ad opportunity.
Bigly?
Bigly, yeah.
It's going to be bigly, though.
My boys are saying bigly.
I love it, Doc. Eddie, imagine if you had dropped the plate of food. Yeah, he'd fire me immediately. The Katina Man would have none of it.
I mean,
he'd be like, yo, pack your stuff.
We got more in the back.
Take it home and go eat your protein over there, bro. That's exactly what I probably hear around here. No, the Katina Man is a kind guy, bro. He'd give me a couple more chances.
I'm kind.
Oh, what was that? Remember when Batista? Remember when they turned? Well, yeah, yes. When they turned on Randy Orton and he was on Batista's shoulders, and then they powerbombed him. So he's like, "Hey, you won the championship," and then that's exactly what that felt like there, Sean. Shout out to the Katina Man. Bob the dog, bro. We're gonna hit that Canada flag as soon as I see that CA right next to it. Sharif, Joseph. Hey guys, is trade the pool what I need? On that NVTS a couple of days ago, I went from unrealized minus 6,000 to realized 250. But then yesterday, I lost 13K. LOL, I need help. Bob, brother, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back. First, let's execute the trades using smaller size. The liquidity is there, Bob. You know what NVTS is doing. It was doing almost 100 million shares.
Yeah.
So why don't you just get in smaller position, execute the trades, let's get those reps in play, and then you can size up bigly. I mean, and besides, trade the pool. That's one option. If you're Canadian, which I know you are, real trading, baby. Get onto that website, realtrading.com, and we've got that at home set up as well. You know, the floor is empty here, Katina, man, and there's a reason why the floor is empty over here, because everybody's at home now. So give us check us out, my guy. Obviously, Trade the Pool's excellent. We obviously talk about Trade the Pool for our American viewers because real trading is not available in the United States, etc. But if you're in Canada, give us a try. Have a look there, and we've got a great technical support representatives back there. Katina, man, they're fantastic over there. I see them all the time back there because they're on the other side of the office. So shout out to Bob the dog. Sorry to hear about that, brother. Obviously, nobody likes taking those L's, but that's part and parcel of the game, Joseph.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm Bob. You know, you're our guy too, right? Like we like seeing you in the chat, you contribute and everything along those lines. And with that being said, I want to see you here longer. So my thing to you is we got to get this risk measures implemented. If you're okay with being negative 6K and then being positive 250 and then losing 13K the next day, if you're okay with that and if your account can withstand that, then by all means continue to swing that club. But I want to see you here for a long time, and I think it's really important that we get those risk measures in place and you don't take any outsized losses if that is the case in that situation. If you're planning to lose that, if that was your primary stop loss, etc., then by all means continue to put on that size and take those losses as long as you can make it out. But if you want to get serious here, Bob, that risk to reward being down 6,000 and then accepting $250 unrealized, you can see that the risk to reward isn't there. And I highly suggest there's no, I not suggest, I will say that there's no longevity in that. And like I mentioned, I want to see you here for a long time, not just, like just trying to make a quick dollar. So first thing is first, get those risk measures in place. Stop putting trades on without any form of stop loss, and start planning those trades a little bit more because we want to see you here a little bit longer there. Bob.
Absolutely.
So,
well said, Joseph.
Yeah,
very well said,
appreciate
bro.
that. So yeah, we got to get that intact there before you head over to anything else.
That's a banger you got on there, bro. Why aren't you been talking about that, man? I haven't heard a peep out of you about that.
It's not the size that I want, though, Sharif. I can't complain about it. Tesla I was significantly more aggressive here on Tesla, and I was just talking about the consolidation phase here within the TQs. Is that okay? Yeah, there's going to be an opportunity to add, but we've already broke through that, and I was talking about Bob the dog. So
that's respectable.
Bob the dog. Yeah. So that's okay. Sometimes we miss out on those things, but I would rather relay that information to you than me have to put on a couple extra shares here in this trade. But here it is, right? We are starting to cook up. We're now through that support zone that was now acting as resistance. We're heading back to the top end of the range. And I mentioned if the big names are going to start to recover, we've seen that exhaustion print. We've seen the indecision at the lows. So for me, the next target is the volume weighted average price, and I want to see how these underlyings react around those specific levels there, Sharif.
Adara, can you weasel in, or are you busy up there?
I can weasel in. What's
All
up?
right. Let's hear about the Niagara trip, woman. We didn't hear anything about it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So basically, my sister was in last week. She flew out last night. She's there for like a whole 7 days, good times. And so for part of that, we did go to Niagara Falls. Now, I am not a huge tourism, looking at attractions type person. I don't really play with that, but my sister really likes all the attractions. So we kind of managed to balance it out. We saw the fireworks on Monday night. I did not realize apparently they have fireworks like every single night from May to
For Memorial, I'm assuming, right?
No, I thought it was Memorial Day, Sharif, but they have fireworks every night in Niagara from May to October. And we were just eating at the Margaritaville restaurant, and then the waiter's like, oh, are you here for the fireworks? My sister's like, we have to go. And I was like, okay. But yes, it was fun. We had a good time. Niagara was chill. I was saying as well, so I guess she has a friend up there, and her friend's husband works at Inniskillen, one of these vineyards. So we got like a wine tour too. Really cool. Yeah, it was a very full trip. Happy to be back. I missed the markets. I tuned in for at least part of the show every single day I was gone. But yeah, so thank you for having me on here. I will close the door now, if I may.
Shut the door, Jerome.
Shut up, guys.
Yeah,
all right.
I love.
Thank you,
I love the
Adair, for
Niagara
that.
vibes too. I mean,
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Niagara on the lake,
On the
actual
lake.
Niagara Falls itself. They're two completely different
Have you
vibes.
ever,
That's the thing,
stayed
right?
At the I'm probably not, but the Prince of Wales there.
I haven't, no.
Okay,
I
yeah,
stayed at
yeah.
the Falls View Casino,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
stay
that's
there,
where it's
yeah,
always like
Sheridan, the
right back
Falls
there.
View.
But like when I go, sometimes
Yeah.
we'll go to Niagara on the lake, and that's like the more
It's more
chill
quiet,
session.
It's more quiet,
Exactly.
stuff like that. Yeah, so that's where we go. But I used to play a lot of hockey tournaments in Niagara, and we would cross there, and just
Okay.
like the times on the strip, you know how they have all the arcades.
It's amazing, bro.
and
It's a
everything.
vibe. It's a sick vibe.
It's a good time there. Yeah.
And like you feel you're on vacation because there's so many Americans
Yeah,
and they're all
exactly, yeah.
speaking. They're like it's so funny. Like when you sit down and order at like a border city like that.
Yeah.
Like Americans say different words in Canada. Like they won't say iced tea. They call it sweet tea.
Yeah, sweet tea. And
Can I
stuff
get
like
some
that.
sweet tea?
And what do they call it? They call it soda. We call it pop.
Yeah, pop,
They're like,
right?
Yeah.
So you immediately you're able to tell. Okay, yeah. So it feels like vacation vibes, but it's like 45 minutes from Toronto. So
It's funny. When I was at that dog training on Friday,
Okay.
I was just Celine and I were just talking with this other lady who was like, "Yeah, I bring my dog on these 3-mile walks," and she's and then as soon as she said mile, I'm like, "Oh, you're from America, aren't you?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, we don't."
It's a
say
dead giveaway,
we
bro.
don't say miles here. She's like, "Yeah, what do you guys even call it here?" I'm like, "Kilometers." I'm like, "Kilometers."
Bro,
They call it
if I
kilometers.
said this once,
Yeah.
I've said this 1,000 times. The metric system is just too advanced for Americans. They can't handle it, bro. Jimmy Carter tried to switch the Americans to the metric system, and how did he do? One-term president, bro.
One-term, that's-
They just don't have. They don't want to have it, bro.
We want to talk about yards and miles. Quarter mile.
All right, bring on the hate, bro. Bring on the hate. I love it. All right, we're having a good time. Build the wall, says Lee. Do you measure in centimeters or feet? I don't know, bro. I just go on. What, look, Fabian, I think we're a hybrid, Fabian. Okay, for example, I say my weight in pounds, I say my height in feet and inches, right? But we don't talk about speed or in miles at all, right? Or distance in miles. Fabian, I'll say like 200 kilometers, right? So we're a hybrid. And I think that like we are kind of a hybrid between England. Yeah. You too? Yeah, a little bit. No, but it's not hypocrisy, SSC. No, it's basically we have British heritage, but we're right by the Americans. So it's a hybrid system, right? Like you take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, right?
How's that apples taste? They're guys for the hybrid system.
Oh, yeah, well, there you go. Isn't it true though, right?
So there we go. All right, guys, let's pull up my screen here. Let's see if we can continue to climb
Just
higher.
bought yourself a wall. People are like, yo, they're building the wall on the wrong border,
the
bro.
wrong side of the wall, man. Hey, bring the wall my way. I'll climb that. Ooh, let's go.
I like this, KB.
Yeah, let's go. Do we got my screen up? No, we don't. We got to pull it up here, guys, momentarily. A big pop here in the market. This is exactly what I want to see. Let's go. I'm going to take a little bit more off here. Not too much. Another 10%. We got rejected. Okay, I'm going to post up at
baby.
70, 86s there to see if we can catch a fill at 86s. That is going to be my next out there. I'm not going to take too much off. Only another 10% up there to see if we can catch another fill. We did get that volatility spike, but I'm looking around the board, and I don't know where it's necessarily coming from. I have my eyes on Nvidia, Tesla, Amazon, Apple, and Google, and I didn't see that displayed in any of them. Let's see what Microsoft is up to. There we go. We're above the volume weighted average price. Okay.
I love
All
this
right,
guy.
Spile. Yeah. Yeah. He's crazy. Yeah. We're not gonna thank you for that one. Nor
Get
are
him,
we
Spile.
going to repeat that. But much appreciated as always, brother. Go market, go. We're having a good time.
He's such
today.
a liability,
He's
bro.
a big time liability.
He's
You
such
gotta
a
take
liability,
insurance
bro.
out of this guy.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, but hey, we got 6,000 people watching. I'm gonna hit the like, and I'm gonna refresh right here.
Oh, there better
If
be more likes than that,
We need
bro.
at least 10%.
Oh
If
my
there's not
God.
10%, okay, we got just under 10%, guys. Do us a solid, hit that like, hit that subscribe, join us in the chat. Not only do we talk markets, we have fun with what we do as well. Adara.
You just keep an eye here on the market. I'm not seeing much of a move here, but apparently there is now another U.S. court blocking Trump tariffs in a separate case. This one was filed by a toy company. So in case you missed it, we had a trade court yesterday blocking Trump's tariffs, basically saying that the act that they invoked to use them, I guess not letting that fly. Now, apparently another court case now with a second U.S. court is now blocking these Trump tariffs. So I'll have to wait for a response at 1 p.m. We are going to get a press briefing held by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, so we might get some more clarity there. But either way, just be aware that this is going on. Now we have another U.S. court blocking Trump tariffs. Also, we have a post here on X at TTV Research. One of the stocks I think has been everyone's mind over the past couple of weeks, certainly my own, United Health, UNH. So I looked into this. They've had some interesting little scandals and juicy tidbits associated with them going back to early 2024. I don't know if you guys remember, but they actually had a cybersecurity attack months before the whole CrowdStrike quagmire. In February of 2024, UNH, or specifically their Change Healthcare unit, faced a cybersecurity attack, and it led to a lot of issues for the company. So you want to read all about those issues, and then leading up to, of course, the resignation of CEO Andrew Whitty in May 2025, check this out on X at TTV Research. It's also linked via a thread to our fun little UNH CEO tenure charts. You can take a look at how the stock performed under the tenure of each of the CEOs, and that's, of course, going to be relevant because one of the company's old CEOs, Stephen J. Hemsley, is actually returning to the helm of the company following the resignation of Whitty. Back to you.
If he's related to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. No, I love the title of that, Adair, by the way, An Unhealthy Decline, hint, hint. Fantastic use of words there. Shout out to Adara. The infographics, guys, if you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? Get on over to X. It's called Trader TV Research. She drops bombs on there. There's hot fire. Make sure you're following. If you're involved in these markets, why wouldn't you want this data? So that's what I'm going to say to you guys. Shout out to Adara. Great work as always. I appreciate you, Adara. I'm trying to get it over here with HBIO, but it's killing me over. All right, so here's the deal. Let's talk about some of these trades. HBIO has a 5-candle hold at the volume weighted average price. So you're not going to convince me that there's no buying down here. Now the question becomes, is there enough buying to start putting in some higher highs? We have been rejecting at 72, 72.5. I'm long 74, so I'm 2 pennies out of the money over here. What's going on over there, Katina man? The Katina man is long at, say again, 206. The Katina man is long, AMZN 206. I happen to like that. Great recovery off that area low, Katina man. We're going to shout you out and hope you print up multiple storms on that side of the desk. Volume weighted average price for anybody who cares, just a little bit below that 207 level on AMZN. One of the only green names, well, I shouldn't say that, one of the fewer green names in Mag 7 world. Amazon up 0.75%. No, it really is Google and Apple, excuse me, that are negative. So I misspoke there. So that's Katina Man's trades. We're going to shut him out and hope he prints up multiple storms. All right, here we go. HBIO, 73, 73.5. Now we're taking out previous area highs. So this has been a 5-candle hold at the volume weighted average price. I'm waiting at 75. Let's go ahead and wait some more up here at 77s. I've got shares on this one, but it's a cheaper name. So we'll be able to take out more levels if we do get a nice move up. Keep in mind, we have a 94.5 penny high a day. Can we weasel up? Here's 74. Rejecting 74. Now we're above 74. Can we work into 75, Joseph Wilson? 74 and a third now. I hate these like million levels sub $1. I just want, that 1 penny level, but we got to deal with what we've got. 74.5 now, 74 2/3 showing up now on the level 2. It's up 162%. It's got a good looking candle forming right now on the 5. However, I'm getting no prints. A huge seller at 55s. Okay, so that was the third time. We went to 74.55 and there was a lot of churning there on the time and sales, yet the level 2 on the ask side did not move. So 74.55, a seller of note. Now, are they going to move down? We've talked about this many times. We see them initially 74.55. Then that same block order comes back down, maybe like a penny or two, or in this case, fractions of a penny, 74.44 rather than 55. So be on the lookout for new areas of resistance that show up on the level 2. You'll be able to discern them a lot quicker than actually on the chart, okay? So that's going to be my suggestion to you right now. So HBIO, trying to curl up off the volume weighted average price, but being met with a lot of selling. Simultaneously, we're still holding our position in Gevo. I don't mind holding this because there's obviously a buyer at 32s. 33s. So we'll see if that area ends up giving way. I don't mind packing my patience on this one. Moreover, MODV, you've had that cough for a hot minute now. You okay? MODV, guys, is getting back above the volume weighted average price. This is the one that had that wide range per candle. And it's, I don't know, I'm not really psyched to want to trade this. I feel it's just maybe the better trades behind it. Let's see what it does at that $1.50. Here's what I'm going to say. If it can clear a $1.50, we can have a different discussion. But for the moment, I'm going to steer clear of this one. MODV, it's going to remain on the side chart, but not going to be too gung-ho to jump into it. Just looking at my scanner up top on the top screen to see if there's anything new weaseling its way onto the small cap gapper scene, and there is nothing that I like. Joseph Wilson, tell us about that trade you had on.
Yeah, we're still cooking up in that one there. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what I just clicked. Oh, that's what I did there. Boom. Catch this fill, guys. That's where we're posted up there. I mentioned that not too long ago. I just got to pull something up here momentarily. All right, cool. So yeah. So that's the game plan, right, guys? I want to slowly climb higher here. Obviously, I would like that to happen. But one thing I want to note is that when we get into VWAP, because I'm positioned relatively well, I'm going to wait for that pullback here, and then maybe I can have another additional add opportunity. I'm not going to chase it, especially on this recovery. I think there is going to be a chance for us to do so. And if we take a look at the TQs, this is where we open up from last night. So essentially we just filled this gap to the downside completely. So hopefully we can get an open up tomorrow around the top end of this range, and then maybe we can continue this move here. Excuse me. And kind of that's just my game plan, right? Thinking out loud. So yeah, let's see if we can catch this fill. Adair, what you got for us?
Yeah, just keep an eye out here on the market. As I mentioned earlier, there's apparently now another judge blocking certain Trump tariffs in a small business case, which appears to have been brought by a toy maker. But the other thing here is I'm seeing this headline circulate. It seems like it's related to this other headline, but worth noting nonetheless because it's incredibly vague. I'm searching for more clarity, but the headline is as follows. Washington federal judge pauses tariff order for 14 days. So it sounds like they're trying to pause the implementation of tariffs. But again, the wording is incredibly vague. I'm still looking into this, but either way, tariff headlines on watch for this market. Be aware they are happening. And the second I get any type of clarity, if at all, I will let you guys know right away. Just also be aware in about 13 minutes, we have not only White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt holding a briefing, but also at 1 p.m. we're going to have the 7-year note auction. Before we send you back to the guys, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at Easy Trading Computers. Thank you to Easy Trading Computers. Have you ever entered an order to buy or sell and the price you got filled out is completely different from what you expected? That is called slippage, and slippage happens when you're trading on an old or underpowered computer. It could cost traders a bundle. That's why our friends at Easy Trading Computers created the complete guide to trading computers. This guide shows you exactly what technology you need to succeed as a trader and to avoid slippage. So go ahead, scan that QR code, or click the link in the description box to get a free copy of this guide. Back to you.
Oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good day. No, I'm playing. Bang, yeah, we'll hit the bang on that. I've seen somebody mention Bitcoin in the chat. They were trading around just around 107 right now. So yeah, we'll wait. Come on, come to Poppy. Come to Poppy. We'll definitely get some more size in on this swing trade that we're still cooking up. I mean, I'm just leaving some for a runner. Full disclosure, out of my swing position, I still have some NVDA from a while ago, about a month ago now that I've been telling you guys about this. But I've been sitting in NVDA from 105. So we like that, looking for an ad opportunity, and I'm looking for an ad opportunity on IBIT as well too, on Bitcoin. So yeah. Just be patient. It's the name of the game. You know that's what I do. I just wait for those precision entries. So that's the thing, right? Like for me, I'm okay with being wrong, but I don't want to be wrong all the time because it does definitely take a mental toll. So that's why I'm more precise in my entries, right? I don't like shooting 20%, 30%, or whatever it may be. I want to have a higher winning rate just because that's just my mentality and how I'm programmed, even though I had to kind of rewire my brain with that thinking because you can't always be right with trading. And I think that's a really important skill to kind of hone in on and try to not perfect because I don't think you ever will, but just try to be as good as possible as you can. It's just rewiring your brain and then having the ability to be wrong numerous amounts of times and then still kind of have a straightforward thinking process. But yeah, let's see what Adair's got for us, guys.
This is a pretty interesting one here, guys. Not necessarily market related, but certainly something to keep an eye on. The Federal Reserve has released a statement saying that Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has met with Donald Trump. They met today at the White House though Powell did apparently not discuss any expectations for monetary policy. According to the Fed statement, Fed Chair Jerome Powell and President Trump did discuss growth, employment, and inflation. Now, this is significant because at a previous engagement, I believe maybe even the last Fed meeting, Jerome Powell was asked, will you or have you spoken to President Trump? And he said that he only speaks to presidents when they contact him. So it sounds like, based on, if this is to remain true, based on what Fed Chair Jerome Powell has previously said, it sounds like Donald Trump contacted him potentially for a talk. That's something to be aware of. Again, this is coming from the Fed itself announcing that Fed Chair Jerome Powell today apparently met with Donald Trump. This wasn't on Trump's calendar previously either. So interesting to note there. And if you want a little bit of a background on the fun relationship between Trump and Jerome Powell, as revealed through Truth Social posts, check that out on X at TTV Research. That is an infographic. Back to you.
So you heard about the taco trade thing?
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that taco trade.
You heard about the taco trade, huh?
Yeah.
The thing is, all right.
All right.
It's like he can't say this out loud because if he says it out loud, it ruins his negotiation position, which is already being ruined. Here's what I mean. Yeah. So if he says, guys, I'm not chickening out. I'm starting at a really high tariff rate so I can work down. If I walk into a dealership, I'm not offering $50,000 for the car. I'm going to start at whatever. I'm just giving you any 30,000. I'm going to be absurd. My dad does this. It embarrasses me, right? Yeah. Always when we go buy cars, it's always absurd offers.
He's a negotiator, man.
Okay, so he can't say that, and the media knows that, but they don't care because they just want him to be wrong. They're obsessed with him being wrong, right? So there's that one thing. So the whole Trump is a chicken thing now. So he actually went on Saturday Night Live and dressed up in a chicken suit, assassino. This is real, by the way. Assassino, yeah, there we go. So this is him dressing up in the chicken suit, and now they're having a field day with this. And like, Adara, this is real. He was on SNL, and NBC obviously, got him to dress up in a chicken suit, and now everyone's using this on X to kind of, propagate the taco trade, right? So this is, anyway, I find it to be hilarious. Guys, I'm not going to engage with you guys in the chat. This is my opinion about how I think he's negotiating. Whether or not you guys think that or not is completely immaterial to me. I believe what I believe, and that's all that really matters to me. So I'll keep my eye on that. Anyway, I just think it's hilarious because he's like, the dude, he's unable to negotiate constantly because think about it. If China was doing the same thing, and the media started doing that there, it would be silence immediately. Like they don't get pushback like that. But
I think
that's what a democracy is, man.
That's such way to throw your president under the bus on that. I think, in my opinion, is just drop that and just be like, hey, you got the Congress has to deal with this stuff. You can't just slap tariffs on everybody. So I think that's a big time shot across the bow on Mr. Donald himself. That's not what you want to see. It is what it is. Is laughter allowed in Canada?
Yeah, it is. I want to point this out. Thank you, Adara, for sending me this. This is Papa Powell's statement, or the Fed statement, the FOMC, at the president's invitation. Chair Powell met with the president today at the White House to discuss economic developments, including for growth, employment, inflation. Chair Powell did not discuss his expectations for monetary policy, except to stress that the path of policy will depend entirely on incoming economic information and what that means for the outlook. Finally, Chair Powell said that he and his colleagues on the FOMC will set monetary policy as required by law to support maximum employment and stable prices, and will make those decisions based solely on careful, objective, and non-political analysis. It's the statement that I would expect we're going with there.
That's all he says. That's all Jerome says.
I wanted to provide some more context here, too. So I mentioned earlier, I believe at the last FOMC meeting, Jerome Powell says that he does not call presidents. He lets them call him if they want to meet. So that does imply Donald Trump called him. But what's also interesting is I just went on Trump's Truth Social to see if he had posted anything recently with regards to the GDP print from this morning or any of this tariff talk. The last post he had on Truth from 13 hours ago was, I guess, just kind of forwarding this article from a news site called Housing Wire, saying that the director of the FHFA, who goes by the name of Bill Pulte, apparently has called on Powell to lower interest rates. So Donald Trump's last Truth Social post had to do with a kind of a subtle dig at Powell to lower interest rates. Pretty interesting stuff here. Again, not super market related, but interesting analysis nonetheless. About 5 or 6 minutes until we get both the 7-year note auction and the start of that White House press conference led by Caroline Levitt. Back to you.
For that, Dara.
Thank you.
All right, let's see what Donald's been up to on Truth Social. The last one 13 hours ago.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
What is happening? Donald, it's been 13 hours and you haven't posted on Truth Social. What is happening up there, man? Get it together, Donald. We need posts every 10 minutes.
I mean, he's not happy right now, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think he's very happy, Joseph, especially with the court order there. But you got to assume, like, I mean, he's gonna challenge that, right?
Absolutely.
Guys, just got stopped out of HBIO. Just want to mention that. So this is going to be an L for me. We took a couple of beak wetters, but still negative on this one. It lost VWAP. I'm out. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
Joseph.
no worries, guys. So let's pull up my chart here, guys, and see what we got going on. This is Bitcoin, so you can see that the move that we've been on for the past month or a couple months now. We're now sitting on the backside of this trend, but the thing is, though, excuse me, we're borderline parabolic. So I can understand this. Now, when we get that pullback, I do believe we're going to go and retest that 100,000, maybe even a little bit south of that. But I'm going to be looking for any form of indecision on this pullback because that's the name of the game, and I think that's how we can start to participate. I mean, it's been cracked already. We've already established a new all-time high. Let's see if we can continue on this trajectory. If you want to get involved, don't be chasing. I mean, buying all-time highs is relatively a profitable system. As Katina Man was touching on it, it's actually very profitable. But you also want to position yourself relatively well, especially if you're just swing trading. Long term, forget about it. Buy the previous all-time high, and then just let it ride for a couple of years or whatever it may be, or however comfortable or however long you're comfortable holding onto the position. But that's my game plan right here. You guys know that I started grabbing some more in my swing account, and I grabbed a little bit more in the long-term account here as well, Sharif. But I was grabbing it up here, and then we just went on this ride. Sold the majority of it, sitting on about 10-15% of the remaining position, looking to add in it using this average as a good basis, right? So again, if I add up here, then my average will be roughly around here. But we got to be patient, wait for this pullback, and then see what entries are displayed and what's displaying itself, and then we can base trades off of that there, Sharif. I want to talk about the Qs here momentarily. I know we're going to go over the news, it looks like, in a second.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Appreciate
this is what we got going on here. We got 3 outs on the TQs. I'm still holding on to 66% of this position, to be that exact, I guess, if you want those precise numbers. But here we are, waiting for this fill. I've been posted up for some time. Need the big boys to continue to participate. Tesla's absolutely choppy, guys, and so is Nvidia. Nothing that I like right now. We did trade Tesla earlier in the session, but yeah, it's just moving eastward now at this point. So let's see if we can get a big bounce. I mean, Amazon is just below VWAP. Apple's not quite there. Neither is Google. So we'll wait. If we get this pullback, add, and then maybe we get that move.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some of these headlines. Obviously, the big news headline from yesterday was Nvidia, and what an earnings. Look, they destroyed earnings, and it would have been a lot better had there not been chip bans and export restrictions, new export restrictions, that is. So let's talk a little bit about what happened here, guys. All right, so EPS blew out of the water, 96 pennies. The street was looking for 93. Revenue, 44.06 billion. The street wanted 43.31. So an easy beat on the top and bottom line. No problemo there. Net income up 26%. Katina Man, they're taking home $18.8 billion in profit on the dang quarter. What the hell is going on over there, man? These are like 65, 68% gross margins on a physical product. That's like software gross margins. That's crazy. Anybody, if you know about that, you know about that. So net revenue, as I mentioned, grew 69% year over year, led by data center, which is basically their euphemism for their AI division. Their AI division, by the way, grew bigger than the company at large, 73% increase year over year in their data center division, which actually printed 39.1 billion of the 44 came out of data center. So the company is reliant almost exclusively now.
Go Amazon.
What's going on with Amazon, Katina man? The Amazon's breaking out. The Katina man's getting amped up, baby.
The Qs are popping as
Yeah,
well, too.
the Qs are popping, and yeah, the VWAP's on the way.
There, yeah. Yeah, continuing this news stream, because I want to talk a lot about Nvidia. Obviously not going to tell you what to do, but I mean.
Yeah, keep going.
No, I'm saying you. We continue with
Yeah. Okay. Equius, you're an idiot. That's all I have to say to you, and you just lost your voice on here, you moron. Hide. I need go on. All right, so here let's continue on here. Yeah, he's an idiot. Who cares?
That's our first block in a while that I told you don't play with us.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go on. So let's talk about the China ban. So this is really interesting because they would have made a lot more money had this China thing not come into play. So they expect $45 billion in Q2 sales, which is actually a miss, okay? 45.9 was what the street was looking for. But listen to this. The company said guidance would have been $8 billion higher, so about $53 billion for their revenue in Q2 had it not been for the H20 export ban in China. So, and they also, on the current quarter, that is, they incurred a $4.5 billion charge because of the H20 inventory that they have to hold on to. And the thing is about the H20, they can't even sell it to anybody else. The license requirements basically put the kibosh on any sales. Let's see if they're able to maneuver something with the government there and move that inventory. It'd be such a shame if it was just sitting there doing nothing. They also lost about $2.5 billion in potential Q1 revenue. So add another 2.5 to that 44.06 that they printed. That would have been likely the revenue number had we not had that April debacle with the H20. So Jensen Huang, the CEO of the company, said the China chip market is effectively closed to U.S. firms. I think that changes. I think that you definitely don't want China to, or the Chinese companies and Chinese industry to rely exclusively on Huawei. You wanna get some of that market, right?
You want that American technology in the hands.
Exactly.
In my opinion. Right?
Exactly. All right. So let's keep going on here. All right, so Charles, you're out too, bro. Sorry. See ya. Keep messing with me. Keep messing with me. AI demand as well remains robust. So they described it as incredibly strong and basically really giving a lot of credit to Microsoft over here, saying that Microsoft's buying up a storm of their Blackwell GPUs, specifically the GB version, which is the dual. So there's the B200 and there's a GB200. The GB200, you get 2 CPUs on the computer, or GPUs, excuse me, on the computer, and that's all tied to the OpenAI expansion, which obviously Microsoft is working with. They also did quite well on networking. They printed about $5 billion in revenue about that, and they said that cloud providers drove nearly half, of all data center revenue. So really reliant on one industry here to kind of put it lightly. So keep tabs on that. Some of their growth drivers as well, their gaming division continued to grow nicely year over year. Even though they only printed $3.8 billion in revenue, it's up 42% over year. So is their automotive and robotics. Watch for this one to really explode going from this year to next year. Automotive and robotics up 72% year over year. Only $567 million though in revenue. Like that's a drop in the bucket compared to the 39 for the data center. Anyway, going on here, Pro Visualization up 19% to $509 million in revenue. That's for things like AI design tools and stuff like that, okay? And they also, I think you'll like this one, Joseph, they bought back $14.1 billion in shares, and they paid back.
You know I like a share buyback.
I know you do. I know you like dividends as well.
I love a good divvy.
$244 million in dividends, and it's a growth company.
There we go.
So not a bad look at all. All right, so we'll keep an eye out on that.
I love a good divvy.
All right. D-Love's making me chuckle in the chat.
Okay. Oh, I had some things to add as
Go
well.
for it, baby.
About,
Go for it.
Some Nvidia as well, guys.
Sir.
We love this name. Talked about the golf deals. But anyways, I don't know if you touched on this yet, Sharif, but the Blackwell lineup alone will generate nearly $98 billion in sales in the current fiscal year, ending in January, that is. A further $119 billion next year, according to consensus estimates. from Visible Alpha there, guys. So again, in the big four hyperscalers, that would be Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, and Meta. Analysts expect combined spending by those four alone to top $345 billion this year. That's up 41% from last year, according to Visible Alpha as well. And I know you're really going to like this one here, Shree.
Let's hear it.
Is this right here. So this is some of the current deals. I wish I could make this. So this is some of the current deals that that Nvidia has struck. This is this year. So gigawatt, from a gigawatt standpoint, Humane 1, and then you can see us continuously climb higher. And then the UAE definitely topping all there. So that's some cool stuff.
It's crazy,
bro.
bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more than Stargate.
Yep.
What the bad word?
Exactly. So this is big stuff there.
Big, man.
Yeah, for NVDA. And I was listening to some analysts last night. Surprisingly, they were slightly bearish on the underlying asset. I'm like, wow, okay, that's very, very interesting. We know that Nvidia is not growing at the rate that it was a couple years ago. That's just not sustainable. But it's still growing at a substantial pace. And I still like this company, especially the golf deals that we're seeing. And you can see just from the infographic that I displayed to you, the UAE, the largest of everything that they got going on right now. So
shout out to Tuan Vo.
What do you say?
1,000 UN, baby. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Tuan. You retracted your message, though, brother, so there's really nothing that I can... I accidentally deleted my super chat, he said. Well, tag me again. You don't need to send another super chat. Just tag Joseph or I, and we'll answer your question.
I think we did miss his first super chat there.
Well, no, he deleted it. Look, scroll back up. Message retracted.
Oh, go to.
Oh, there was another one?
Go to fan funding.
Sure.
Let's go to the fan funding.
Yeah, one sec.
And you'll see. I think you'll see that we missed one there.
MLGO seems to be running. Okay, micro algo. Okay, so I'll pause for a sec. Let me have a look at micro algo. Then we'll talk about CrowdStrike, or not CrowdStrike. Sorry, Salesforce. So MLGO, one that we've. Oh, thank you for this. All right. So now we've got something to look at here. MLGO running. It's up 15%. It's a repeat offender. So we know how this one does. Look, all I see right now, Tuan, is the hold up at the 10. So bull flag number 1. There you go. Each bull flag is created differently. Some have prolonged areas of consolidation. Some, it's 1 or 2 candle pullback on the 5. Everyone's created differently. Here we go. We're at the high of the day, 169er. Look for a second bull flag continuation, maybe into the 80s, and then a period of consolidation, maybe into the dollar, and then a period of consolidation, or the $2 area, a little bit below that. So look for the breakout here. MLGO is going to move on the side chart for sure. For sure, we're going to keep it on here. And who are we going to take off? We're going to take off HKD. So MLGO, it goes. And once we're done the news, we're going to be looking at that one. But good luck. Thank you for that, Tuan. Let's just go back to live chat. There we go. All right. So let's continue on the news over here. We're going to talk about Salesforce. So obviously, CRM, which is the ticker, is down on the day. At least last time I looked, 5 1/3% right now. Not a good look. The report wasn't that bad, to be fair to them. EPS, 258, beating the 254. So bottom line, beat there. Revenue, 9.83 billion versus the 9.75. Top line beat. You've got top and bottom line beat there. Revenue also grew about 7.6% year over year. But net income, here's kind of a bit of a bad part. It held flat. Not like it dropped, but they only printed about $1.5 billion only, I should say. $1.5 billion of profit on the quarter. That was the same amount of money they printed last year in profit on the same quarter. So no growth there. Now, with respect to the guide, let's talk a little bit about the guide over here. If I can just adjust this a little bit. There we go. The guide was okay as well. They give a bit of a range for Q2 EPS. They're guiding 276 to 278 on revenue of 10.11 to 10.616, excuse me. So both are ahead of estimates. Both the EPS guide and the revenue guide are ahead. Full year 2025 guidance as well. They're guiding about 1127 to 1133 in earnings per share. That's their profitability metric on revenue of 41 to 41.3 billion, implying about an 8 or 9% top line growth. That's pretty healthy as well. And the outlook, their guide, that is, includes contribution from AI tools like their Agent Force. We'll talk about that in a second. But management did flag weakness in marketing and commerce segments. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows over there. They do have some issues in marketing and commerce segment. Now, they made a strategic acquisition here, Joseph. They acquired this company called Informatica. All right, so what is this all about? Well, it's their largest acquisition, Joseph, since 2021 when they acquired Slack for about $27.1 billion, which pissed off a lot of investors. And there was activism there saying, yo, get rid of this M&A division that you have. You're spending way too much of the company's money. Start focusing on what you're doing. So they paused M&A for almost 4 years. This is the biggest deal that they've done since then. So the deal is aimed at enhancing AI and data management capabilities, especially, guys, for the cleaning and the prepping of enterprise data. I didn't know they had to clean and prep enterprise data. Analysts did call the acquisition reasonably priced and easier to digest than past M&A. Hint, hint at Slack, guys, right? They go on to talk about their AI momentum. They say that Salesforce launched Agent Exchange, a marketplace for AI agents. We've been talking about agentic AI a lot on the show and in the morning as well. That's one of the themes, I would say, for AI in 2025, as well as robotics. But robotics, you feel a little bit more down the road. They also internally deployed, so within the company, they actually deployed Agentforce, and they say it saved them about $50 million by reassigning about 500 customer support workers. So jobs, sadly, that would have gone to 500 different people were done by AI. And, you know, however you want this cookie to crumble, let's just be honest, maybe there won't be mass layoffs, but there won't be mass hiring because jobs are going to be done by, yes, AI, agentic AI. So that is usually a bit of an issue there. Anything you have to add, Joseph, while I set up for the next one over here?
No, I'm just sitting in this trade here, guys. I know a lot of people were talking about kind of an inverse correlation between Bitcoin and MSTR. MicroStrategy is starting to pull back in here as well too. I'm liking this bearish kind of sentiment here in Bitcoin. Just because I mentioned it's going to give me an opportunity to get involved with more. We need more, and that's my game plan. Yeah, overall market starting to pull back. Tesla hovering around those low, close to the lows anyways. Looks like it wants to move back in towards that realm. So just be patient on that. I don't know if there's going to be an ad opportunity here just yet, but we'll keep our eyes on everything, Sri.
All right. Okay, well, you're just gonna get blocked again, bro. Oh, poor soul. He's just tagging me with vitriol. Bro, you're just gonna get blocked, sweetie. You poor soul. Anyway, let's go on here with the U.S. halting the tariffs. This is a major blow, obviously, for the Trump administration as they try to kind of get the tariff situation under control and strike some deals. So we'll see what happens there. So a federal court blocked Trump's broad reciprocal tariffs imposed in April on imports from dozens of countries. It wasn't just one judge, though, guys. 3-judge panel ruled that the tariffs exceeded the authority used by the statute that Trump was employing. What is that statute, you asked? Nobody asked. International Emergency Economic Powers Act. It's the IEEPA. So the court issued a permanent halt, not an injunctive relief here, permanent halt, and barred all future modifications of the tariffs in question. So basically, you can't adjust them, you can't amend them, but you got 10 days to basically remove them and stop collecting money from them. That's what part of the order as well. Some of the impacted tariffs, the impacted and the excluded tariffs. Let's talk about that. So the block tariffs are going to range in percentage from 11 to 84 on global imports. We're talking about Mexico, Canada, China, the gauntlet. That's what's included in the ban. Now, what's excluded, Joseph? Steel tariffs, aluminum tariffs, they remain unaffected. They stay in play. Why? Because they were not justified under the IEEPA. It was a different statute, so they don't form part of the judgment. So the aluminum tariffs, steel tariffs remain in play as they were. Nothing changes there. So what was some of the legal fallout from some what happened here? So it's a major setback, as we know, to Trump's America First trade strategy, I should say, and could limit, obviously, the future unilateral tariff use. Trump is appealing the decision, as we know, and the case could eventually get to the Supreme Court. We're going to pause for a second and send it to Adair.
We have a couple different stories from Google, one of which came just seconds ago. So the first here, the Google-specific story, TechCrunch, reporting here that apparently YouTube is going to start letting viewers use Google Lens to search what they see while watching shorts. So Google, again, this is just reported from TechCrunch, apparently YouTube could be allowing you to use this Google Lens to search what you're seeing as you watch shorts on YouTube. Now, the other piece of news also impacts Meta. Financial Times reporting that Germany is considering a 10% digital tax on some tech giants. So again, we know that these names in the EU have really, or these countries, sorry, in the EU have been going after these American tech companies. Looks like that's continuing. Again, Financial Times reporting that Germany is considering a 10% digital tax on major tech companies. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. I just got a couple of here and then have you chime in. So that's the fallout, essentially. So what power he did have to levy unilateral tariffs, at least for the moment, until this either gets struck or temporarily suspended by an appellate court, it is going to remain in effect. We'll have to see how swiftly that can or can't get done. So stay tuned with us, obviously. Make sure to always be here with us, and we'll bring you the latest news on the day. All right, so obviously here, you know, market it received it well. So the court said Trump's orders were unlawful as to all. So that blocks the states as well as the businesses who were suing Trump because of the tariffs. It wasn't just small business that were doing that. Certain attorney generals from certain states were also joining as, what do they call it, amicus curiae or whatever, something like that means that you're a party to the suit. The panel found that no legal or practical link between the tariffs and Trump's justification of stopping drug trafficking. I think that's where he may have an argument at the appellate court, because it's not for the court to substitute their interpretation as to what may or may not be justified. It's their interpretation to see what the law actually says, but not to substitute their own opinion for Trump's. I think that's where he might have a legal footing. We've got to go to Derek. More breaking news.
Lots of news. I'm going to go from most to least urgent. Most urgent synopsis here. SNPS dropping pretty aggressively. The company suspending guidance for Q3 and fiscal 2025. So SNPS taking a push to the downside. Now let's talk about some of these other catalysts. We have comments from Feds Goolsbee. He was talking earlier around 10:40 a.m. Now it looks like he's talking again. It's like on a radio station. He's saying that the Trump administration could be using other justifications to impose tariffs. So even if there is this court ruling on tariffs, it could actually just lead to further extension of uncertainty, and that could even be more negative. So Fed Goolsbee really not even viewing this potential pause or suspension of tariffs as a good thing. He just sees it leading to more and more uncertainty. Another catalyst, not likely to be huge, but I think worth noting potentially regardless, Amazon reportedly, according to CNBC, tapping the Xbox co-founder to lead one of its new teams developing breakthrough consumer products. Keep an eye on AMZN and Microsoft here. Back to you.
All right. Joe, Mama, Tony, I appreciate you guys. We're going to keep going on with that. You have anything? We've got quick last one here on the tariffs, and then I'll throw it to you for a second.
Let's talk some tariffs.
All right, guys. So some of the reactions and the commentary obviously coming in about the tariffs. Trade experts say that while the ruling limits the IEEPA actions, as Adara said just right now, tariffs could still return under other legal frameworks. There are other statutes that he could possibly employ. So even if he loses in appellate court on the IEEPA, he could weasel his way using other statutes. Stay tuned for that, obviously. The administration, as we already know, Joseph, likely to explore new legal routes or modify the strategies to preserve that trade leverage. Anything with you, my friend?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thanks for that, Sharif, as always. And I know I was listening to some stuff as well this morning.
Bang.
And they're just saying Canada amounted to less than 1% of the fentanyl that goes into the United States. So, I mean,
I was never buying that, Joseph.
You know
I was not going to buy that.
Yeah, obviously. It's like everybody was like, okay, this guy's just using it as an excuse. So there we go. Thank you for that, Sharif.
Yep.
DJ Bob. Okay, so we got one for a super chat for Adara here. Bob the dog there, $5 Canadian, our good friend there. We missed you at Adara LePage. You make us cash money. So there you go.
Thank you very much for the kind words, Bob.
Thank you.
Oh,
There you
she
go.
popped
Boom.
in.
She caught that there.
Like that, and then she shut the door in her face.
Shut the
again.
door real quick on that.
She Jeromed.
She Jeromed. Ooh,
Got it,
okay.
Jerome.
She Jeromed on that.
Should I go on?
Oh, yeah, you got more stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Hailey Bieber just got a whole lot richer.
Yeah, I know.
Okay?
That's crazy.
A billy
I wonder how much of Rhodes did she own, though? Like, she didn't own 100% of it. There's no way. She obviously had investors and everything along those lines.
Well, we can ask chat, but I'll just tell you what I got right here.
right.
Yeah, you can ask Copilot over there. Okay, I think Adara wants drop hotlines. We're going to send it to her before we start on ELF.
Sorry for all the interruptions here. I do have to drop hotlines really quickly because we have comments coming through from the White House. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt beginning her, her briefing, and she's already right away starting hot off the presses, not a fan of these trade rulings. She's saying that the trade court ruling was judicial overreach that is being faced by Donald Trump. So if there's any other comments of note, I'll let you guys know, but it is worth noting we have a bit of a rejection here on the Nasdaq as we get these comments coming from Caroline Leavitt, who's also apparently just chiming in here as well, that Trump's rationale is, quote, legally sound. Back to you.
Thank you. All right, we're being instructed by Ramin as to what we need to be doing during the show over here, so we don't want to upset her. So we're going to click. Oh, here it is. Thank you for that. Yes, Justin Bieber sold his entire music catalog to how do I say this? Hypnosis songs called Capital in 2022 for I did hear about this actually, Ram. 200 million. TMZ reports that the sale was made because Bieber was on the verge of financial collapse. I did actually hear that.
Yeah.
So she made the company 3 years ago. She got $1 billion. His entire music's $200 million.
Yeah, but I mean, he's also been making money off of that music for how many years now?
Yeah, but like
he was music catalog.
I don't know if it's true that he's under financial collapse because we know some of these guys they hide their money in ways that we don't really realize. But
there's no way.
I would really hate to believe that he was actually in trouble with money.
I don't
like
think
that. I hate to hear that.
He made way too much money in his career.
I have no
I mean,
idea.
obviously the guy is going through some things. I think.
Ram trashing you in the chat there. She's like, Joe is a believer.
I'm a big time believer, man.
Yes, sir.
I have nothing wrong with him. I mean, he's a Canadian kid. Unfortunately, he was a child star, right? And then as you get older, you just live a different lifestyle, and you can see that most definitely on it. Like the media makes him look so bad. I don't know if it's that bad. I'm obviously not involved with Justin, but he made substantial amounts of money, and I highly doubt that Hailey Bieber owned 100% of her Rhode cosmetic line. So I mean, she's not saying that she didn't make significant money. I think in a career basis, Justin Bieber has probably made a substantial amount more.
All right, let's. Can we just do it now, Andre? Because I got to this. All right, guys. In sports, playing flexibility is literally everything, and at ProfitX, you can see the order book just like a financial exchange. You pick your spots and you customize the odds to fit your risk. Why would you settle for a single offered price when you can set your own? Plus, their mobile interface makes it way easy to play on the go. ProfitX, baby, where you call the shots anytime, anywhere, and users can use code TraderTV to get their free or their sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Shout out to the great folks there at ProfitX. And as we know, the Katina Man and the Neil, who's on vacation, use it live on the show to place their bets. I think they're been pretty happy with it. So yeah, if you're interested in that, have at it. Let's talk about ELF. So this is what we were talking about earlier. Sorry, I don't have images made for this, so we're gonna have to do this kind of bootleg screen thing. So ELF Beauty announced plans to acquire Hailey Bieber's Rhode in a deal worth up to $1 billion, its largest acquisition to date. The deal includes the following: $800 million in cash and stock, and then about $200 million in performance-based earnout over 3 years. So total, it could be up to worth up to $1 billion. And we know if she's going to get stock, the stock of ELF can go down, so it might not be $1 billion. But anyway, it's a great deal nonetheless. Wow. It's expected to close, Joseph, in Q2 of 2026. The deal strengthens ELF skincare presence and brings in a higher income customer base. I guess it's expensive makeup. I have no idea. Yeah. So why does it make strategic sense for ELF? So Rhodes actually grew to $212 million in direct-to-consumer sales with just 10 products in under 3 years.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. That's like Kim Kardashian-esque right there.
Yeah, that is
right.
crazy.
Driven by Bieber's brand power, obviously, Rhode will expand into Sephora stores in North America and the UK later this year, apparently. And Bieber Haley will remain the chief creative officer, overseeing product innovation and brand direction. You like to see that, because if she was instrumental in the growth, you don't want to see it get all corporatized and weird.
Yeah.
It's got to remain organic. So good luck for her. Now, how Elf did on how Elf did on the earnings here, Joseph, because it also reported, in addition to this news, 78 cents EPS, beating the 72, revenue of $333 million, beating the 328 expected, and net income grew 95% year over year, up to 28.3 million, and revenue rose 4%. But there is tariff risk, as with a lot of the physical products. That's because 75% of their products come from China. All right, currently subject to 30% tariffs,
China.
obviously with the planned price hike starting August 1st. So they are very much exposed to tariffs, Joseph.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I was curious to see how much stake she actually had in this. So apparently she owned around 50%, which, I mean, she could earn approximately 400 million from the 800. Pardon me? What, you think she owns more, Ramin, than 50%?
Beef. There's beef happening beside me here.
Oh, yeah, it's not fully disclosed of how much she actually owns. Yeah, exactly. But they're saying that she approximately owns around 50% of it, which would be around 400 million from that 800 million cash that they're receiving. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, talk about... She said, she can be the majority owner.
Hold on, let's do this to her.
Listen.
Mike,
please.
Mike,
please. Yeah, exactly. There you go. I mean, there it is. I mean, just the name. The name is what I think definitely helped get her this deal. There's no question.
Well, yeah, of course. But look, she's obviously very talented in her own way. I'm not going to get down that road.
Where are you now?
All right, let's talk about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. This is actually really interesting. I think you're going to like this.
I like this one.
So Palantir striking up a deal with Fannie Mae and possibly Freddie Mac. Here's the deal. So Fannie Mae announced a partnership with the OG Alex Karp and company at Palantir to use AI and their data analytics tool to proactively detect mortgage fraud, starting with multifamily unit houses. This is really interesting. Early pilot tests showed Palantir's platform, that AIP platform we always talk about, could spot the fraudulent activity in seconds when it took a human months to find that same activity. I kind of believe that, because with the kind of computers they got now. So this is going to be really interesting, because we know that mortgage fraud raises the price on everybody else, okay? We know that. Through insurance, through higher rates, etc. It's kind of like insurance as well, like car insurance. When there's a lot of car thefts, the rates go up on everybody. All right, so Palantir's AI gains momentum. Obviously, the tech stack here, including the AI-driven data protection protocols, align with government goals of cost cutting and modernization. This is like a government-adjacent institution. CEO Alex Karp emphasized that the solution can preserve privacy and protect sensitive mortgage data, addressing potential concerns over surveillance or data misuse. I still think people are not going to like this in the same way that people didn't want Elon using Grok to look through their finances and look through sensitive information in the government. That was a big thing as well. So I don't think we're going to be completely out of the woods there. But Freddie Mac could be the next contract here for Palantir. So they got one with Fannie Mae. Freddie Mac, the next one. So FHFA Director William Poult, indicated the program could expand to Freddie Mac, and the agency is also exploring AI collaboration with your friend Elon and his company XAI. Poult stated the goal is to pull costs out of the system beyond just fraud, opening the door to broader AI integration across housing and finance. So another use for Palantir's AIP platform and their Maven system, obviously, which doesn't have anything to do with this, but a fantastic look for them. Joseph, what do you think about that one, my man?
Yeah, I like that one a lot there, Sharif. I think I love Palantir as well, too. I'm not involved in the name or anything along those lines, But yeah, I like Palantir, just striking deals, Alex Carp, left, right, and center, and I think it's going to continue to grow without any question of that. So
I got to agree with that, man.
Getting more involved with the government, so there it is.
There you go.
With Mr. Alex Carp and company. Yeah, I mean, sorry guys, I'll touch on the markets here momentarily. Jag, it already touched VWAP. I'm still holding on to just under half of this position here. I'm looking for this opportunity to add as well. I mentioned that time and time again. But yeah, we got to be patient. Nvidia heading towards the lows, not too far off of that low of the day. Neither is Tesla. So yeah, some weakness definitely displayed in these sessions. And I think for the next couple of days, especially with all this uncertainty going around with the tariffs, the market doesn't like that. So just be cautious. There might be some more down days ahead.
All right, guys. Micro algo still putting in lower lows and higher lows, and not exactly higher highs. That $1.71 still the top. But thank you for whoever pointed MLGO. As soon as we're done the news, I'm going to be on that one. Great look for it. Let's talk about HP though. Not a good look at all for them. They missed on EPS and their guidance as tariffs weigh heavily on the company. So EPS 71 pennies. Missing by 9 pennies here. The 80 pennies expected by the street. Revenue did beat expectations, 13.22 billion. The street was looking for 13.14, and it's also about a 3.3% year-over-year increase on revenue. Net income, though, did fall slightly, not slightly, more than slightly, about $406 million in profit. Compare that to last year in the current quarter where they took home about $607 million. So tariffs definitely eating into margins there, and it's causing them to have a weaker outlook and to cut guidance. Let's talk about that. Q3 EPS guiding below the street's consensus. Even the top end of the range are guiding 68 to 80 pennies, a range there. Doesn't matter, the top end is below the 90 penny consensus estimate of the street. Also, the full year adjusted EPS forecast, they're guiding $3 to about $3.30. Again, well below the $3.49 expected by the street. Management cited, of course, you guessed it, Trump-era tariffs as a key reason for the cost headwinds and lowered guidance. We're going to pause for a second, send it to Adair.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know here as well, as the market drops, you still have comments coming through here from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. She is saying basically that the U.S. administration will be fighting this block from the trade court on tariffs, saying that the judge ruled against Donald Trump's quote-unquote tariff power. So it looks like they're going to be fighting this. Also, she's saying that she hopes the Supreme Court will weigh in. So really, guys, we did have a little bit of relief, at least pre-market, on these hopes that we would potentially have a little bit of a block on these tariffs. It sounds like the Trump administration is very much willing to fight to keep these tariffs in place. So keep an eye on the market with that in mind. She's still speaking, as far as I can tell. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Yeah, CSIO, I see you there, Sergeant Sexy 12. CISO looks really good. It's earned its way onto the side chart. I'm putting it on right now. Let's see. We're going to finish this one. Let me just see quickly here if there's anything else I want to cover. C3AI, nobody knows what this company does anyway. And then JD Vance's keynote yesterday was kind of a nothing burger at Crypto 2025. Adara, is crypto, is that Bitcoin Conference 2025 still going on today, or did it end yesterday? Thank you. All right, so we'll find out exactly what the situation is with that. I appreciate that, Adara. Anyway, guys, let's get into some trading now. There's MLGO that I like and CISO. So let's load up these bad boys and get ready to trade. SBET is taking out the highs, though. Okay, so I'm going to have to pause for a second here. SBET, yet another insane day for this company. Clearing $51. Shout out to the OG, Zion Lala, bringing this one to my attention. You got a plethora of higher lows and higher highs. How do we get in on this one? I'm going to put a dip trade at, I think, in the high 49s. Let's go ahead and throw that on there right now. See if we can get something maybe in the high 49s if possible. Wow, this thing is taking out highs. Here we go. 51.62 now, up 76%. Let's throw an order over here. I'm going to throw it at 49.50. So let's go 49.55. Let's see if we can get something in and around there to get a bit of a dip trade. It's a great breakout right now, though, but trade this carefully, guys. Adara's got more information for us.
So I looked into this trade. Looks like it was 2 days, starting on Tuesday, ending today. But here's the thing. It looks like they're already ready for this to end because their homepage has nothing about Bitcoin 2025. It's all about Bitcoin 2026 in Vegas. So they're already on to the next, for lack of a better term here. Again, this conference is still going on, but you wouldn't necessarily know it if you looked on the Bitcoin 2025 homepage, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Adira, for that. All right, guys, so that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now. We're going to take off some others as well. NTCL, we're going to put MLGO, keep that on the side chart as that just pulled in a little bit. So I've set up a dip trade here on SBET, a little bit below that $50 area. I'd like to see if I can get a money fill in the mid-40s, mid-49s. It's a 51.62 high a day right now, and it's showing me 40s on the ask side of the level 2. So we'll see how this one does. Let's load up also here, sorry, Joseph, CISO. Let's see what this one is up to. It's trading about 3 pennies off the high. I could pick this up at $1.40 to $1.42. Let's throw some orders. So we're gonna wait. First area at $1.42, and then we're gonna wait for the other area that I did in the high 38s for a possible money fill. So that's that one. Let's load up MLGO as well, but we don't want to take off GIVO because we're still involved in that. MLGO, Micro Algo is the ticker. That just got to a high of the day of a 171. It dipped down though into 162. Is this a money fill here? Well, current bar low is 160. I'm going long right here, and we're going to give it to 159. Simple as that. So let's go ahead and throw that on there, and then simultaneously we'll have to throw some profit takers for a move up, because you know how these ones act. They're around for a good time, not a long time. So I'm throwing my orders there, and we'll throw one into the high of the day as well at 71s, and we'll see what we get there. Nothing yet, sadly, though, on SBET. It did not fill me. Been waiting for that. That didn't come in yet, Joseph. So I'll pack my patience there, see if we can get something on SBET.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, I added into this TQ's trade here aggressively as well. So we're starting to come back in. We got to hold this base. If not, I might just hop out of this and then reassess the situation to see if we can continue. I mean, Amazon's really starting to pull back, and the likes of some other big names. So that's not too good of a look right now. So I'm gonna keep an eye out on this here and see if we can continue to climb. So I'm looking for the bounce, pull back. One thing to note is that I know the primary trend is still to the downside, so I'm kind of just anticipating and front running a move that maybe I shouldn't be doing. Yeah, but you can see this downtrend line here. If we can sit on the back side of it, then maybe we can climb and then breach the volume weighted average price and then sit on top of that. So that's just the game plan here on TQs. I mean, I'm profitable on the trade. I risked a lot of unrealized here just to potentially make this trade significantly bigger. I mean, I'm in larger. I'm double the size of what I had in right here, guys. So big time out after taking off some of these profits, and I would like for these key levels to hold up. But if Nvidia wants to continuously put in new lows of the day, then that's not looking too good for me. So you can see the weakness displayed here in Nvidia. This thing. I mean, it's such a great stock, but it's not the best. Again, up here, great stuff. But then when it wants to do all this choppiness and noise, in my opinion, I just don't think it's the best intraday trader, right? Obviously, I'm wrong. I could be wrong. It all depends on what you like. But I like orderly price action. I don't like a lot of choppiness. And I kind of compared it to the likes of Apple. But just due to how large the float is, it takes a lot of capital in order to move the underlying asset. And then you kind of get this choppy price action. I like what Katina Man was touching on here. As for day one earnings, a lot of hands involved, right? And we've seen with the likes of the quantum computing space, sometimes that's not the best. But let's see what Sharif's got for us here.
All right, new traders, listen up, guys. First month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving the fees so you can trade smarter, not harder. But you got to upgrade to that elite experience so you can analyze and strategize. And then after all that, you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything, guys. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts, and you'll predict better with their awesome back testing tools, guys. It's reliable, real-time data, global markets, literally at the tips of your finger. An all-in-one platform is what I would call it, so do not miss out, guys. Execute your best trades now. Ready and only if you're ready to elevate your trading. Scan that QR code or check the link in the description of this video. Daryl LePage.
Gabriel, we currently have Caroline Levitt, another individual here, speaking right now at this White House press conference. And I'm just going to mention it here, guys, because there's a lot about tariffs, as we can generally be expected. We know last night we had a U.S. trade court blocking these Trump tariffs. basically what she's saying here is that apparently they're reviewing other avenues for trade policies because, as was alluded to earlier via some comments from Fed's Goolsbee, this is not the only avenue that Trump has to get tariffs across. We do have Caroline Leavitt saying that President Trump has other authorities for his tariffs. She said that the U.S. trade policy will continue and that other countries are continuing to try to negotiate with the U.S. So basically, lots of trade talk here. Also, Caroline Leavitt, we're just seeing now, giving us a little bit more insight reportedly into the conversation between Donald Trump and Fed Chair Powell. In case you missed it, we had confirmation from the Federal Reserve earlier today that Powell and Trump met today at Trump's behest. And we have Caroline Leavitt saying that apparently Donald Trump told Powell he's making a mistake by not lowering rates. So this is kind of more or less what we had the talk here from, I guess, from the Federal Reserve as to what Powell and Trump said. We know that apparently the discussion was just kind of focused on inflation, et cetera. Yeah, sounds like apparently Trump directly told Powell that he's not lowering rates is making a mistake. For the record, we went over this earlier in the Fed Watch tool. We're not expecting a rate cut till at least September. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. All right, keeping my eye here on SBET as it's breaking out crazy. We're punching at the highs. We're going to take small size here, see if we can get that continuity. This is going absolutely nuts now, 83% on SBET. What a fantastic move up. I'm also keeping my eye on MLGO. We're able to take one quick beak wetter there, but it's really nothing to write home about right now on MLGO, so we'll keep tabs on that. SBET, we're finding resistance right now at that $54 area. 54.74 is the high of the day, well extended off that $50 area, so let's be careful with that. Keep your eye on 54. It is losing the bid. I don't mind adding into this, into the $50 area, but I want to see how quickly this can either recover or drop back down. So 83% right now on SBET. We'll keep tabs on that one. Also keeping my eye on this one over here, MLGO. As I said, a couple of outs on this one. Now looking for the next peak wetter there at 68. I didn't get anything, sadly, on the dip trades that I've been waiting for here on CISO. This one is stair-stepping up. It's not got the greatest amount of volume on the day, to be fair to it. So I've left my orders there at where I perceive there to be technical support, but yeah, I'm just, you know, if it doesn't let me in on the dip trades, I'm not gonna chase this one at the top, to be quite honest with you. So continuing to watch MLGO as it shows me 68 on the bid, but does not fill me. So I'm gonna keep my eye on SBET. That's where we've got a majority of the position in now. So let's see if we can get a little bit more there. And so we'll zig and zag a little bit here, Joseph. So we got 54.13s on. So we'll throw in a couple of orders there, maybe in the mid 54s. See if we can get something a little bit up there, but it's going to have to hold out that breakout area above 50 bucks. Right now, the current candle is not to my liking. It's basically an engulf candle. So the candle prior to it goes into the high day at 54.74. This one south of 54 coming in to that $54 level, 53.70. So we'll see if we can get something to the high side here, Joseph.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So yeah, Jake, I see you're long the ES, as well. One thing to note, we are still in this downtrend, so until we sit on top, I mentioned that I am front running this, so don't necessarily just mimic what I'm doing, obviously, ever, because you got to come up with your system. I'm not saying that you are, but you got to understand kind of my thought process on this one here. So that's why I added aggressively, looking for the crack of this trend and hopefully a recovery in some of these names. Joseph, have a look at IMNN 5-minute chart, so similar chart patterns could be expecting a bull move. Did you just go over IMNN?
No, I didn't actually. Yeah,
okay, all right, I'll pull it up there. Yeah. I didn't know if you went over it.
No,
okay, so this is definitely Sharif's world here, guys. We're running into like a $2 ticker. The liquidity issues on the lower time frames are definitely displayed. You can see that, I mean, it hasn't been trading horrible. Not something that I personally trade. Immunon, I'm not overly familiar with the company, but I mean, it's not looking absolutely horrible. I mean, this type of price action isn't necessarily that I would want. You can see all these intraday gap ups. That's, for me, I would just be moving on to the next thing. But if you're comfortable with sitting through some of this volatility and just a consistent gap up, then by all means continue to trade that JAG. I always feel that once I enter a trade, have faith and patience. No, I wasn't saying that. No, exactly. It's too much money to mimic you. Yeah, I don't know about that, but no, I wasn't saying that you were mimicking. But I'm just saying you got to think about why I was in this trade specifically and adding to the position. No, I'm not implying that at all. All right, see, so you can see that we're knocking on the door lower of the downtrend continuously, and then we have some aggressive rejections on the tape. I mentioned once we crack this, I have to get out of the trade and trying to figure out what else is going on, if there's going to be any potential other longs here on the day, or is it time to head into pullback territory? I mean, the market's been in a monster run for the past month, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get somewhat of a sentiment shift and then we start looking for those shorts. And that's something most definitely I'm trying to improve on in my game, is just getting that ready to flick that switch when time is needed. But there it is. What a run on here. This is the TQ, so this is 3x levered, but relatively similar from a price action standpoint to the Qs here. So you can see off of these lows, we get this big time move. We pop up above the key resistance zones, but then we come right back into the middle of this range. So I'm going to look out for tomorrow. If we get an open just below where we're currently trading at right now, I think there might be an opportunity to start taking some shorts in this overall market. You see that Bitcoin is on the backside of the trend as well. And then now Nvidia coming off of yesterday's earning report, giving back the majority of its gains. So it's filled that gap to the downside. Where is the closing price of yesterday? We're not quite there. So this is the opening print on the earnings report there, 136.01, and then now we're trading around 139.5 there. So yeah, giving up a lot of this move. We did touch into 143.87, and I just mentioned utilizing the options chain to gauge what the market sentiment is telling you. And in my opinion, I didn't see that amount of size on the put side. On the put side, that is, it was not displayed, but you've seen the amount of size on the call side on this week's expiration cycle. So surprisingly, I'm going to be coming in tomorrow's session slightly bearish on NVDA. Could I be wrong? Is there a lot of time from now till then? Absolutely. But I'm just listening to what the market is telling me, and I'm going to look to base some trades off of that. Whether they work or not, then you just look to figure things out after that point. You just try to execute, see what you got going on. Is the market reacting in the way that you believe it is? And then you just try to add into those positions as well. So try to make them as large as possible. But you can see the weakness displayed here, most definitely in NVDA, and that is not good for the TQs long and the addition to the position that I just put in there. So yeah, there it is, looking like it wants to take another leg down. Same with the legs of Apple, Amazon, and Google. You got a little pop, but the primary trend still fully intact, and it looks like the weakness is not quite over yet. So yeah, don't try to force anything. Listen to what the market is telling you. Jag demag, please don't do that. It's slightly annoying, in my opinion. I'm just going to remove that there. But yeah, please don't spam the chat like that. ORIC, we can take a look at it, but if there's not much going on because of your actions there, I'm not going to put too much into it. So, okay, so you're getting a breakout. Is the volume supporting this breakout? Has it started to step up how we would like to see when we punch through some key resistance zones? You can see that we are forming these consistent higher lows. Positive sign there, punching through that opening high, or sorry, not the opening drive, but the daily high, rejecting it a little bit, but it looks like it wants to be sustained. Is that volume there? Nothing crazy, but it's a pharmaceutical company. I personally don't intraday trade these, so that it is what it is on that front. Not a horrible trading underlying right now, but not something I would particularly look to get involved in. And here we go, down channel still intact here on the TQs. You can see the weakness continuously step in here on the tape until we break it otherwise and sit on the backside of this. Then I think the trend to the downside is going to continue, Sharif.
All right, let's cover MLGO. We're taking all the prints here to the high side. Good trade here on micro algo. We missed that 74, well, because we didn't have an order there, and I missed 72s and 73s. So that's kind of frustrating because it did pop up into those levels, but I was not waiting there with a resting order. Hence, I didn't get printed. But we're doing it freaking live right now on SBET. Here comes. We're taking out the high of the day. I got 75s on. We're dollar in the money. Here we go. Let's go. Let's take out those levels, man. We're really close to taking out. I just saw it flash 75s. I'm waiting at 69. So that's kind of frustrating there. SBET, boom, boom to the high side, Katina man. Or we're taking size on this one too. So here we go, flattening out the rest of the trade here. I'm happy with this trade. Big move up here on SBET. This is like one of my biggest winners in a long time, which is not saying much, guys, because I don't take that much size, but we're adding definitely more size lately, okay? A lot more lately. Shout out to the Katina man. He was talking to me in the kitchen the other day, and he was letting me know some stuff, so we're gonna shout him out. Don't tell everything, though. Now I got to stay quiet.
quiet, man.
Shout out to the Katina, man.
Don't let 'em know.
So we're doing it live. Are we going to Dara?
I didn't get it.
Oh, I didn't. Yes, we are. We are. Boom.
Congrats on that trade there, Sharif. And also, not a news update, but I just want to let you guys know, in case you've missed it, I post here every single day on X at TTV Research. And what I usually do when I'm here in the office is give you guys a look at the implied moves for some earnings names. Now, this is the implied moves as of, I think, around 12 p.m. They do tend to change, but they're usually about this. I haven't posted this quite yet, so you guys are getting a sneak peek. There are some big implied moves tonight with these earnings plays. Costco, a casual, roughly $1,000 ticker, 10% expected move. The smallest expected move here today is Zscaler, 6.4%. So you can't check this out on X at TTV Research yet, but soon you will be able to. Make sure you give that a follow. I'll be posting this imminently. Back to you.
Dara.
Need the update on the Jimmy Carter day because I think Tesla's starting to recover, and it's definitely one of my picks.
Almost the end of the month, she said. So, yeah, quite close to that.
There we go.
So there it is, guys. All right, let's have a look at our friends at Micro Algo over here. We're taking prints over here as well. Let's see if we cross 73s. Not quite. It was just at 73s. So we'll see. Oh my God, SBET is flying. Joseph, SBET is about to take out $57, $56.65. HO dang D. This is really going now, guys. Be on the lookout here for SBET. It's a repeat offender. I do believe we are ahead of Tuesday's high. I keep wanting to say Monday, but it's not Monday. Let's flip to the 15 over here on SBET. Are we above? Yes, we are by some distance as well. There was resistance, as I mentioned, at that $52 area. That's where the closing prints ended up rejecting on Tuesday, but it was 53.50. That was the high of the day, and we are well above that now. Essentially a 57 high of the day, 56.96 HOD. We're going back to Adara.
Sorry for the interruption there, guys. I just want to let you know, as we get this pushed down in the market, I'm not seeing anything huge, although we do still have comments coming through from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt about tariffs that I want to address. Most recently, she did say here, when asked about this 90-day window with the tariff pause, she said that the trade agenda is moving forward. So it looks like regardless of this pause, they're going to keep holding to their plans for trade. Caroline Leavitt has echoed the sentiment, worded in a variety of different ways throughout the majority of this press conference, guys. They really want to, regardless of what judges have to say, regardless of any windows, they want this trade agenda to continue with smooth sailing. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara.
Tesla's absolutely tanking, putting in a new low a day there. I got stopped out of the TQ trade there, guys. So, yeah, the short's definitely coming into play. I like this kind of sentiment shift because I think I'm going to start looking for some shorts here, not just punching everything long, because we have been on a really nice run here, guys. All right, so you can see from this local or this low here, it's up 72%. All right, so I'm going to expect some form of a pullback. Is that commencing now? Maybe, possibly. We'll wait until tomorrow, but and there's still plenty of time left within this session, right? So I'm going to be waiting for a pullback here. We have cracked through that low a day, so there could be some more downside too, but not going to chase it all the way here. So you can see we had this nice support level established throughout this intraday session, and then we cracked it with momentum, and it's really starting to pick up steam. I'll pull up my TQs chart right here because I did get aggressive. And then I got stopped out here. So there we go. Looking for that continuation, running into resistance, guys. Don't do that until you sit on the backside of this trend. Don't anticipate. Don't try to front run something like this here, especially when the primary's to the downside and you're seeing a lot of the big names that are extremely important and have a high level of influence on what the TQs are doing are moving to the south side. So yeah, no, that's a no. We don't want to be doing that stuff there. So yeah, NVDL and TQs. I took a loss on there, but Tesla was my definitely most profitable trade here on the session. We'll pull this up here to see what we got going on, and it's unfortunate that I didn't make it any bigger, but I did add here, stuck to the game plan, and then we eventually just get that stop out. So there we go, we enter this position, and then we add aggressively right there, and then we get that move to the top side, and then that's what I was kind of going with, the same thesis there on the TQs. Looking for that continuation, so you can see we get in there, we add, but I need to be more aggressive within these adds, especially on this pullback. And then as soon as we get into the volume weighted average price, it's like, okay, see you later. We're going back towards the lower end of the range, and that's that. So if we get in some more waterfall type price action in Tesla, and I get a big indecision, with some nice indecision print and some isolated pivots here, then I believe that there could be a bounce play, and that's what I'm going to be looking for. So going to be patient. We'll go on to the lower time frames because it's really important to display what's going on from that standpoint. And here we are. That's not what I want. You can see the selling pressure still displayed here, but a massive engulfing candle, momentum to the downside, volume picking up. So maybe we do continue in that direction. Let's see what Adara's got for us.
Keep an eye on X, that's USD, a little pop for this one right now. This conference is over, but we're still seeing comments coming through from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. It just ended. Basically, she was asked about US Steel and its potential acquisition or merger with Nippon Steel. We know this has been going on for a while. And Caroline Leavitt basically said that Donald Trump is going to Pennsylvania, and when he's there, he'll be commenting on US Steel. So the stock reacting positively right now. Again, just to clarify, President Donald Trump apparently going to comment on US Steel, and hopefully it's possible merger with Nippon Steel when he visits Pennsylvania. Also, Fed Kugler to speak at 2 p.m., so that's in about 5 minutes. It's been a very exciting day of trading, to be sure. Back to you.
I think, Derek, he's actually going to have a rally there. I think that's what he was saying. Yeah, he's going to do one of those Trump-esque rallies to let everybody know, he's the savior of their jobs. Yeah. He's got to remind them.
You got to make sure the people know, sure.
Got to people know,
you
bro.
Gotta let them know.
What's going on over there?
Now you know. Now we need the. Now you know. Hit it now. Okay. No,
oh,
right, that's okay. That's all right.
We'll
try it one more time. Hit it now.
The more you know, the more you know, Assassino, that way.
Catching on straight. There we go.
Give him a second, bro.
Yeah, there we go.
Told you not to upset the production team, bro.
We don't want to upset those guys.
We live in fear of them, Joseph.
Yeah.
Well, I do anyway. I live in fear of the production team.
Yeah.
They can make us look good. They can make us look bad. They can put flattering angles, not flattering angles. They hold, a lot of the cards here, Joseph.
Yeah, and they're definitely close to their chest. I mean, yeah.
I love to talk smack, bro. Joseph, what the hell is happening over here on SBET? I want answers, Katina, man. It's over 100% now. 60-50. This thing is on one, making my trade look like absolute trash. Oh. Look at that move up. There's yet another short squeeze happening here. If you, dude, can I show you exactly what I'm talking about here? You want to see the short squeeze in real time? Yeah. Let's put SBET. Let's throw the 5, which we are. Yeah. Let's move back, not to yesterday. This is what happened. This is real, Joseph. This was $12.50. Then right at 8 a.m., somebody got squeezed. Huge. Bigly. Look at that. It popped up to $35. That's a real print, dude. Yeah, that's okay, big. Off that 12. So somebody had a monster short position, probably got margin called right there in the pre-market. That's a nice thing to wake up to, eh? Yeah, you wake up, you open up your eyes, you're finished brushing your teeth, you get that notification on your phone. Margin call.
Margin call, boom.
Boom.
Liquidate.
To the high side. So anyway, SBET, the real deal, guys. It's a multi-day runner. It took a bit of a day off yesterday. It didn't really give much back. This is yesterday's price action here. Katina, man.
Are you short anything, Katina, man?
The Katina man's short Nvidia at these levels, and he's already printing up a storm. So we're going to shout him out there. As you can see, the money's flying from the sky there because the Katina man's shorting up a storm, right?
A lot of storming.
Anyway.
Well, that's the thing, right? So, guys, and I want to talk about this a little bit here because I know we have. So, again, we talk about high levels of open interest and how they come into play. You've seen that Nvidia exceeded the expected move yesterday, but look what happened preceding today's session.
What happened?
We can't even hold those levels, right? So, yeah, exactly. Come on, man. Come on.
This is how we do it.
That's how we do it. We gotta tell them, man. That's how we communicate here.
Exactly.
It's our language. We gotta tell them, man, what's going on. 140, 114,000. We had a high of around 143, just under 144. Now this is growing. I mentioned this. I go and check my X post from this morning. The size on the calls are starting to increase. That means the way I'm perceiving this is that the hedging is starting to increase as well too. And now we're starting to see that downward pressure. Yeah, you can be buying those out the money calls, but they're so far offside. And you have to think about the expiration cycle as well too. Focus on that. Are we going to get back to 145 by the end of the week? That's tomorrow. We could, but the chances are that the theta has showed up the complete value of those contracts, okay? So now you have to think, why is there that much size at those specific levels? It's because now you have a bunch of individuals who are shorting those specific calls from 150 to 145 as well too. We can't even hold those levels. If I go down to 140, another 114K.
Oh.
See you later. We're not even thinking about holding 140. Why? Because there isn't enough demand. There isn't enough demand to hold those specific levels. And in my opinion, the way I'm looking at this is why we're going to see this continuous selling, and it's going to be tough. And that's why we look at the options chain to see where these high levels of open interest are rolling over to the next expiration cycle. We've done this earlier with Nvidia when it was trading around the teens. I remember it was 116, 117, 118, etc. High levels. We couldn't break through those. Then you wait for that rollover, and then you see those lifted higher and higher. It's 125, 130, and then the following week we've seen it lifted higher, and then now this week we're seeing that it's around 140, 145, and 150. Until we've seen those continuously lifted higher, Nvidia is going to struggle to break and hold these levels, and that's exactly why I was referring to holding somewhat of a short bias if we couldn't claim these strengths.
Joseph, you know one thing I've been asking you a lot about, especially from the options perspective, Joseph. Which one I've been asking you about?
It's a CoreWeave. I've seen it. Yeah.
You seen that?
Oh man.
Oh, okay. Hold on. That's a 5. That's a 5. Let's switch to the daily.
Yeah.
If we close at these lows, Joseph, and we break yesterday's area low. Okay, question for you.
Question.
So you explained theta to me, theta or whatever, very clearly, and I appreciate that. So now, I got a follow-up question. Say I get calls that are longer dated. Let's just say, for the sake of example,
you're bullish now.
No, sorry, my mistake. Puts, excuse me.
For the longer dated.
Yeah, for the longer dated puts. Okay. So say I get, just for the sake of example, something in September.
Okay.
If it drops, okay, so say I get puts for, I don't know, $85.
Okay, yep.
Okay, so does it matter that the expiration date is in September, or will I be in the money really quick if it, say, drops to $85 in July? Would there be a lot of money for me to take in the July? So if I want to close it out at that time.
Okay, so I'll break it down for you.
Go.
Okay, so say you were to buy the 85 puts right now that expire in September.
Okay.
Right? And then in July, it trades down to $85. That contract is still not in the money, but what it has gained is extrinsic value. So that's the time value. So options premiums are derived from two things. It's moneyness and the time value. Okay, so what you would have done, you wouldn't have gained any intrinsic value because you would $85
still out of the money,
right? But what those contracts would increase, you would make money just strictly because of the time that is left on the amount, the duration that is left on the contracts. But what you did is from where it's currently trading at to going to 85, that's strictly time value that you're collecting.
That's the only thing I'm making money on.
And that's what you were trying to aim at, is that, okay, yeah, you want to make that. You're not looking for the intrinsic value. You're looking to gain time value.
Okay, and so it would be a double whammy if there was time and I was in the money on it.
Exactly.
So it would be a double whammy at that time.
And that's where you,
I got you.
And that's where you
I got
see the traders making those 300, 400, 500%
That's what it is,
returns, is because not only have they gained intrinsic value of the contracts, they gained time value.
Fantastic, man. That's actually a fantastic lesson right there. That really helps me kind of understand the whole thing. Hey, Bart Simpson, what do you want me to do, bro? My lips are what they are. They're not going to change. So, yeah, get over it, bro. So, yeah, that's fantastic, bro. So there's two ways to make money. The time left on the contract and whether you're in or out of the money. Well, in the money, obviously, to make money. Yeah, that's really interesting, man. Okay, so now I can really think about this. But you always execute your options, entries, and exits based on TA, always, right?
Always.
So you need to see what you need to see on the TA.
Exactly.
Okay,
so don't just use it. Just think of it as another vehicle to trade stocks, right? Don't change your methodology or anything like that. It's just a leverage system, and I look at it as the exact same thing if I were to be grabbing shit.
Amazing, man. I do appreciate that, bro. That really helped me understand because I have a bias for this thing. I've already made my point, right? Yeah.
Dude, buy those longer dated, right?
That's what I want.
Buy them out the money, and if it by the time like a month or two out, when theta really starts to pick up and it's the underlying is starting to decrease, you would still profit from that trade,
right?
Because there's still some time value in there.
All right, guys. It is now 201.52. We'll round up to 202. So we got 2 minutes left in the bank there, baby.
They owe 6 minutes, my guy. Last time I was counting
6,
for
right?
Midday.
It was 6. Send him off, Joe.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say other than the market is weak, guys, and just continue to monitor things. Don't be fighting the trend and looking for those continuations and long.
All right, sorry, Bart Simpson. I didn't know that's what you meant on the blockchain, explaining it to me. I apologize. You know, sometimes it's just hard to read everything, so I just kind of glanced at it. I do apologize. All right, guys.
And Pug Life, so you're right, 100%, and that's what I was referring to. Extrinsic value is essentially time value, which is correlated with theta, and that's what I was explaining to him. When you have something so far out the money, you're not looking to gain intrinsic value. You're looking to gain the time value within those contracts.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
There it is. All right, we're going to send you over to the Katina Man, and what's his name? His name is Obi, by the way.
Obi.
Yeah, shout out to the Ob. He is the one, Kanob. Just want to send you off with a couple of ideas, guys. MLGO, Assassino, still going here. It's taking out the highs. We just printed 75s. So if you're looking for small cap gappers, SBET, CISO, and MLGO. And with that,
I love that.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yeah, me and Obi we were actually just talking about we can tell them what we were talking about. We were talking about Blue Ocean. It's available
Talking
here.
about swimming in the ocean.
Yeah, we were talking about swimming.